fundamentals, especially in retirement. What are some of the retirement fundamentals? Making sure you minimize your risk, minimize expenses, maximize what you're saving, maximize your income, have that autopilot where you never have to worry about outliving your money, and you've got at least that amount coming every single month for the rest of your life. It'll never be less, could be more. Knowing if you pass away, your spouse is going to be taken care of. Knowing when you and your spouse both pass away, your kids or grandkids are going to be taken care of. So there's a lot of different check boxes we go through. Nothing you really have to worry about. You can read about it in the book, or you can get your own plan done with us at no cost. But
and that's kind of the whole point of all this, isn't it? You know, we talk about financial planning. You can get into the weeds and know all of these terms and what's going on here or there. But at the end of the day, most people just want to walk on the beach, want to swing the golf club, throw the rod out there and try to catch something good, go flounder gigging, you name it. Like most people don't really want to know this, but at a certain point, you got to find someone you connect, trust with, and make that one decision to get the plan. Because like you said in our last episode there, once it's done, it's done.
Yeah, we're more than happy to give you all this behind-the-scenes information, by the way. And you can put it in a file. You might look at it someday, you might not. But we have it all backed up. But we put all the important and pertinent information on a one-page plan for you, showing you in color, different colors, what it really means to you. What's my lifetime income going to be based on what I have right now? What are my expenses going to be? And of course, the income better be higher than the expenses.
Exactly.
And so if not, we could tweak that. And so that's why it's important to be honest when we talk about what do you like to do in a day, a weekend day. You like to play golf? All right, we need to put a price to that. Then we need to factor inflation in. What's that going to cost in 10 years? Oh, you like a cart? Well, a cart costs more money, right? So, you lose 10 balls every time you play. Well, we need to factor that in. So these are all things that we go through because you don't want to be surprised down the road.
Yes, that's right.
And so fundamentally, we go through everything and make sure that everything's in place.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, you got a great quote here from Jack Nicklaus talking golf. Learn the fundamentals of the game and stick to them. Band-Aid remedies never work.
No, duct tape.
Isn't that nice? Yeah, duct tape.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's such a great solution that we have. There's no need to be cutting corners.
There you go. Yeah,
we can put you in control of retirement with the money you already have put aside, by the way. You're not going to have to come up with money. It's already there. Let's just make sure it's in the right place.
There you go.
That's all we do.
Folks, the time to act is right now. Connect with Coach Pete's fiduciary team with the information that you see there on the screen. Get your questions answered, but even more important than that, let's get that plan. Take that worry, as you like to say so often on your radio show, Coach. Take that worry out of living in retirement. And folks, we'll see you for Chapter 7 here shortly.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any
end game. And I like this because, when it comes end game. And I like this because, when it comes to retirement planning, something that you've talked to me about, Coach, is you want to understand an individual's dreams, aspirations, goals in retirement, and you can sort of work backwards from that based on what they have.
Yeah, and it's a fun process to find out what you really want to have happening in your life, and then we can work backwards, and we can, for most times, tell you that's possible if we do certain things now.
There you go.
We move this money there, and we put that money there, and everything's fine now. And so it's not about just hoping everything's going to be fine. We can give you a seal of approval telling you it's going to be fine. That's a big, big thing right there, because now you have a team behind you telling you everything's going to be fine.
Yes.
Instead of saying, well, maybe, perhaps, likely, could be. I don't like any of these kind of words. We want definite words with definite positive for you.
Exactly. And the end game doesn't just end or apply there. You know, I hate to bring it up, but one of our colleagues here, Bruce, had a friend who poorly took out funds from a 401k and didn't invest them back in and was hit with that huge tax penalty.
You talked about that on the radio show a couple weeks ago. He asked me a question from a friend. And you have 60 days once you take money out of your own IRA to put it in a different IRA, or you get that tax bill. That money becomes taxable. So you got a 60-day clock. Or if you have it electronically done through a planning organization like us, it's done automatically. You don't have to worry about it. So the burden of proof lies on the institutions, not on you when you have an institution help you.
That's good.
That's a big time bomb for folks if they do the wrong thing with money, or your money in IRAs. When you take that money out, you're going to have to pay tax on it, unless it's a Roth IRA, which is tax-free. If you have a Roth and a regular IRA, then people say, well, which account should I start taking money out first when I'm in retirement? My opinion, if you got some money growing tax-free, keep it growing tax-free. Take the money out of the taxable accounts, keep that money growing tax-free over there, because the good thing about a Roth or life insurance, when you pass away, that money goes tax-free to your next of kin.
Yeah, so powerful, so powerful.
It moves on tax-free, doesn't disappear. That's good. And you don't even have to take it out if you don't want to.
No, it's true. Well, and we've just talked about a couple of situations here, but throughout this retirement transition, there are so many of these exit strategies that you need to have in place.
Yes.
Even into retirement, Coach, I think about laddering strategies, bucketing strategies.
Yep.
Technically, these have exit strategies at each point as well that are, you guys are always tailoring these, aren't you? Every now and then just updating, making sure everything's heading in the right direction.
32 years I've been doing this, Thomas. 32 years I've seen about any kind of situation you could ever imagine.
Yeah, I bet.
So that's why it's good to go, like when I go to my doctor, he's been around for a while, and so he's seen, no matter what I say, he's seen it before. He doesn't have to start Googling. You don't want your planner learning with you, in other words.
Oh, man.
And so we've seen the mistakes people have made, and our objective is to make sure you don't make those same mistakes.
There you go.
And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But a genius learns from other people's mistakes. Well, we'll learn from other people's mistakes to put a plan together for you that makes a lot of sense.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
So get your own plan now. There's no cost or obligation. You've got the book. The book is a great tutorial, by the way. But then you can have the teacher, the professor. You can meet with the professors and me, who I've educated all my advisors. They understand every tool and technique in this book.
Yes, absolutely, without a
call.
doubt.
Let's get a plan put together and put you in control of retirement where you never have to worry about income again.
There you go. Now's the time, folks. Take action. Call the number you see on your screen. Text us, email us, whatever is easy for you. But the important thing at the end of the day, start the conversation.
Yeah, get started. Get started. Don't be afraid. It's nothing to be scared of, and we'll make it painless as possible.
As painless as possible. And
There'll be no finger pricks.
I'm turning the page, Coach. Coming up next, folks, we are discussing the next section, tactics. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's Parker Holland here with Capital Financial, Chief Wealth Strategist. We always like doing case studies on the radio, and now you guys get a visual representation on one. So we're going to use real cases, of course, no personal information, but these are scenarios we put together for clientele that we're looking for that safe, reliable, guaranteed income, but also the legacy. So we call this a spend and leave plan. It means you kind of set up a strategy, live off the icing, don't touch the cake, and we're going to give you multiple scenarios of how these actually work. So for the first case study we had come in was actually a radio listener a couple months back. They were currently age 54 and 55. They were targeting retiring at age 60 for them both. Now, of course, when there's an age discrepancy, there's layover months. That's not an issue for us. We're looking at the year in which they're both turning 60. So we had about roughly $2.5 million in retirement savings. This is a combination of IRAs, 401ks, Roths, after-tax funds. So this is just kind of giving you a big picture lump sum. So we're not going into a lot of the tax planning here. We're focusing solely on the income yield. Now, the benefit of this plan is there is not a risk tolerance we normally assess. Most people say that you have to put your age inside of a retirement calculator, and that's the difference between what's at risk and what's not. So that means that the safety and the risk should be about a 55-45 split. Well, in this scenario, we based on what makes the standard of living work, what makes the income work. And in this scenario, it was an even 1 million of the 2.5. What this did was we always work with A+ or higher companies, but they become the custodian. So instead of having a 401k like Fidelity or Vanguard, we use companies like Nationwide, Athene, North American, A+ rated insurers. So in this scenario, that million, based on this A+ rated company, got a 30% bonus, which pushed the insured value to 1.3 million. That's 300 grand going towards their retirement income, no matter what the market does. Now, when we run worst case scenarios, we're talking about 0% market return, absolute worst case. And then we run age of death, we just always look 30 years out. But the beauty of these plans is the strategies and such we target continue beyond. Now, I mentioned 30 years out, but we're talking about 30 years of income. So what we're targeting is once they're at that age 60 mark, the spreadsheet ran out at 34 years, but these are the numbers we're looking at. That means that the income received, worst case, no matter what the market did, would start at $90,000 a year. So they put in $1 million. They waited 5 years. The 1.3 guarantee would produce $90,000 a year at age 60. That means, yes, they would spend down the account by age 94, but they would still be getting this income as long as one of them's alive. So to kind of recap that, they'd get $90,000 a year, and even if they hit a $0 nest egg, they would still be getting that income. Now, we all know we'd have bigger issues if there was 0% returns for close to 40 years in this example. So let's run actual market performance. Well, the market ranges normally between 7 to 15%. Now, a lot of calculators are going to do a calculation saying, hey, it averages 10% a year. Well, that's kind of the middle ground. And it doesn't do 10% a year compounded annually. It does 10% annualized over a 30-year window. So we're going to have years of 0, and we're going to have years as high as almost 50%, but it normally ranges between 7 to 15. So same scenario, same age of death. The difference is the income would start at $100,000. But the kicker is, over the course of their life through age 94, it goes as high as $250,000. So this income increases and compounds year over year. And all of this is under a spend and leave model. Live off the icing, not touch the cake. That means that $1 million investment, not the total 2.5, just the million, based on market returns, would grow to over $4.5 million at death. That means they took out close to $4 million themselves and still had 4.5 left, assuming the market did what it's done over the last few investment cycles. So you guys want your own plan, you want your own strategy, give us a call, shoot us an email, go to our website, send us a text, and we'll run the numbers for you.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
All right, we are going to kick this off strong. Inaugural episode of the Wild.
Legos.
It's true.
You name it.
Legos for sure. Yeah.
Rock'em Sock'em Robots. If you ever unopened one of those original games, like Hot Wheels,
right?
Yeah.
Classic Hot Wheels.
There's that show on the Public Education Network, some kind of road show. They would go around antique road shows, and they would find different antiques. People invest in antiques. But you go to a lot of people go to estate sales to find things that people don't value right. You know, think about it. Have you ever had anybody pass away in your family?
Yes.
Have you ever had to go and clean the house out that they left behind?
I actually have a story to go along with that. My great aunt used to own a retail store in a downtown neighborhood here for years and years and years, and she dealt in collectibles. And so when she passed away, her children were able to go into these warehouses, as it were, and imagine lunch boxes from the 1950s or dolls from the 1940s, still in the box. I mean, perfect condition. They've increased, 100 times in value.
Putting a value on things. And here it is. When someone passed away, it's up to you. It happened to my wife. Her uncle passed away, and then we had to go clean his house out and then get rid of all the stuff there. Get rid of is an optimum word, because we didn't really value everything the right way. I didn't really spend much time that her mom and her didn't really value everything properly. I went one day. I said, this isn't for me. I did get a baseball card out of it. So a baseball too. But how do you value things the right way? Because that's when the sharks appear, when they assume you don't really know what it's worth.
That's true.
We're working on a new proprietary program with a different firm now that will enable you to have an app on your phone. You can take a picture of whatever the item is, and it'll tell you what the value is. This will make it a lot easier. But that's a different story and a different show. What I'm talking about here is there's values for a lot of different things. There's different ways to invest. The investing we always have been brought up to know about is stock market.
Of course.
This is probably the number. And then crypto is investing too. You're investing your money. Investments basically mean you take your money and you give it to somebody else for some item. That's investing. So it can either go up or down. The person who is selling it to you is hoping that they've made money too. And they're hoping that when they sell it to you, it's going to go down in value, because if it's going to go up, they would have held it. Or maybe they need the money. So one of the things we're going to talk about here, we're going to concentrate on all different investments. We're going to talk about the stock market every now and then. We're going to talk about, just came across my desk, this company named Venue from J.W. Roth. Venue is a company that starts these outdoor amphitheaters, but they're VIP amphitheaters, and they have amazing amenities there. And it's like first class going to concert, because like J.W. has said, J.W. Roth is, most of the concerts you go to now is warm beer, standing in line, being at like a single A ballpark in baseball.
Sure, yeah.
So he said, what if we could VIP that experience? And we're going to end the show today with an interview that I just had in Wall Street. We went for the opening bell this past week and watched J.W. Roth ring that opening bell, and the stock symbol VENU has been launched. Let's go to that interview right now, and folks, we'll see you on the next show. Folks, it's Coach Pete here. I'm live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Mr. J.W. Roth, who has just launched.
He's going to ultimately go, but then to actually do it, to stand out there and ring the bell on the New York Stock Exchange, culture and in building food lines. So Roth is a prepared food manufacturer, I think about the third largest in the, and I said, you know what? I've got another one in me. I want to go build another one. My son had been at Roth all the, and putting public-private partnerships together. And this last summer, we opened the most premium amphitheater ever built in history. Ford Motor Company put their name on it. It's the Ford Amphitheater in Colorado Springs, Colorado. 92 fire pit suites, beautiful owners clubs. It's an incredible place. It's incredible.
Pits, oh, just an amazing place.
It's incredible.
You don't even think you're at a traditional concert.
No,
anymore.
Ryan Tedder is interesting. Ryan Tedder, One Republic, he stepped out on stage. He sold out 3 shows for us this last summer. But he stepped on stage and he goes, geez, I feel like I'm in Dubai. All of the fire going on and the fire pits going on, and it's incredible. It creates an unbelievable vibe and an unbelievable ambiance.
Yeah. So I mean, this idea though came like, let's build amphitheaters, or I mean, that's what you said.
Here's what I said.
Okay.
I said I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of the venues that I go to, and they're terrible. Yeah. But I go to football games and baseball games, and I'm thinking, man, these are nice. Yeah. I could do this. So when I left Roth Premium Foods, I left for one specific reason, and that is to disrupt the venue space in live music.
Disrupting, because some of the like the Major League and football places, their video screens are better than the TV at home.
No question, no question. And the food is unbelievable. I mean, you have 5-star restaurants now in baseball parks, and so we built the Seafood and Chop House in the Ford Amphitheater in Colorado Springs. It's a 5-star seafood and chop house inside of a music venue.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
instead of hot dogs and a slice of pizza.
That's right. That's exactly right. No more hot dogs and slices of cold pizza.
All right. So now you got the idea. Let's build big amphitheaters and let's let the people to come. But how did you get the
ability to then finance and put small amounts of sale leasebacks on the ground underneath the amphitheater? But these amphitheaters, like in McKinney, it's a $300 million amphitheater to build it's the most seated amphitheater in the history of the world. That we're building there. It opens for the 2026 season. It's beautiful. If you've not seen what we're doing down there, it's incredible. But at the end of the day, you could never make it pencil if it wasn't for really forward-thinking municipalities like the city of McKinney. Mayor George Fuller, he's a forward-thinking mayor. He's a wonderful man. And he, in his way of thinking, he brought the city council along, and next thing you know, they're supporting it. We have great fire pit suite owners down there. We've got a good friend in Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's a Hall of Fame quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, he is.
He and I partnered on 8 as a sponsor at our venues, and then we're building the Aikman clubs, and so we've just got really good partnerships, good sponsorships, and so at the end of the day, we have a financing strategy that works and works well, and it works good for our public company shareholders.
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of people, before they invest in the stock, they say, well, let me see how much debt this company has.
That's right.
How are you looking on that?
We have very, very little debt. We, over the last 8 quarters or so, 9 quarters, I guess, we've built a balance sheet of about $181 million. We'll cross $200 million and add $1 billion in 2025.
Is that a B?
With a B, in the net tangible assets. And so, you know, at the end of the day, we are focused on our balance sheet, and as a result of public-private partnerships and mark-to-market valuations, we're gonna cross that number this year.
Now, someone who's just finding out about Venue for the first time, and they say, "Gosh, how do we get an amphitheater like this in our area?" What are the steps you've been doing, and where are you going next?
Yeah, so, you know, right now we're finishing up amphitheaters as we build down through the Tulsa market and Broken Arrow. We'll be in Oklahoma City market. We're building the Dallas-Fort Worth market in McKinney, which is an unbelievable venue. Getting ready to start our construction down in El Paso. You know, it's interesting. El Paso is such an interesting market. People think of El Paso, but they only think of kind of north of the bridge, right? Listen, south of the bridge is just as big of a market. Latin music has exploded.
There you go.
It has exploded.
Yeah.
And that market has exploded. And so at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, don't count El Paso out as might be the most profitable venue we build in the next 10 years for that exact reason.
When is that on the schedule to come out?
We're booking it, and it will open in 26. So we're about 15 months out.
Well, let me ask you this. If people stop liking music?
The world ends, right?
Yeah.
If people stop liking music, I think the world just ends. It's the only thing I can think of that is unifying, right? At the end of the day, 2025, again, for the 10th year in a row, it's the #1 leisure activity in the world. In the world is live music. So bigger than baseball, bigger than football, bigger than soccer, worldwide, #1 leisure activity, live music. And it's most unifying. Think about this. Where else can a Republican and a Democrat and an independent all sit together and sing in harmony and be harmonized in whatever they're doing? Live music, right? Everybody, I don't care what if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you know the lyrics to Hotel California.
That's right.
And you sit there and sing it together in unison.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only places that happens. It doesn't happen in baseball parks because there's two different teams and they hate each other.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen in baseball, two teams and they hate each other.
Yeah.
Live music is the only place where everybody there is there for one thing, and that's to be unified in whatever band is playing.
It's amazing how you can have an album, listen to it over and over again at home, but then you go see that band live, and it's a totally different experience. It's so much better, isn't it? Live?
No question.
Yeah.
It is. Live music is I tell people this all the time. Live music, and everybody that's watching this they know, it's a vibe. It's a feeling. There is an ambiance about live music you don't get anywhere else. And it's something that you tell stories about. Music, I can play a song, and it takes you back.
Yeah.
You can remember where you were, who you were with, and what you were doing.
Good point.
Because that's what music does. Music creates memories. Live music creates even better memories because you enjoy it with somebody else.
Yeah, and you've got the collective energy of everybody around you. I think
That's right.
resonating. We don't even know the metaphysics on that these days.
No
too,
question.
But I think the group mentality of everybody on the same side.
No question.
I mean, it just lifts everybody's spirits.
Yep.
up.
No question.
Again,
No question.
Album
Yep.
or live? Who
That's
does more
exactly
live?
right.
So my next question is, do you ever see live music going away? Of course, that was
No,
a
never,
softball question.
never. Not in 100
Probably
years.
getting better and better, isn't it?
It does get better. Right?
Yeah.
There's a point, though. I think there's going to be a point where live music even expands. So live music today is usually enjoyed. We're together and we're at a venue. But I see the day coming where live music will be enjoyed virtually. Virtually in the sense that pay-per-view or live music events that's an audio.
Like a 3D room kind
like
of
a
thing?
3D room.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see that coming someday.
Yeah, well.
We'll see what happens, but
With AI, you never know these
I
days,
think
huh?
with AI, I think
Yeah.
you're going to see that happen. Yep.
Well, that's
And it's
pretty good.
exciting.
Where'd the name Venue come from?
Well, here's what happened. The company started off, I named it Notes Live. And Notes is obviously music notes, right?
Yep.
And live is what we do. So Notes Live was the name of the company. I started dealing with the New York Stock Exchange, and we started looking at symbols. And Paul Dorfman said, you know, some of the coolest companies in the world, the name of the company is also the symbol. You know what I mean? And so there's some thought that a lot of companies then put into that. So we started thinking about all of the various symbols, and actually Venue obviously it's a 5-letter word that we turned into a 4-letter word. And it's just so descriptive of who we are.
It is.
And then the New York Stock Exchange worked with us to make that our symbol.
Did you get a thesaurus out?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I do that online
yeah,
nowadays.
exactly.
I find a different word.
Exactly.
If I can't pronounce one word, I go with another
exactly.
one. All right, so then let's talk. We've got a couple minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk business.
Yep.
For someone who's watching this and they are interested in investing,
Yep.
what would you tell them as far as a brand new investor? What kind of steps should they take, and what would you recommend?
Yeah, so, I'd love to have you as a shareholder. Our symbol is VENU, traded on the New York Stock Exchange. I would love to have you as a shareholder. We are aggressively disrupting the venue space. We are well capitalized. We have strong shareholder base and support. And I am committed to building a balance sheet and a P&L. So at the end of the day, you would be investing in a space, the music space, the live music space, that is exploding. Never been a time in history where the demand of tickets has been higher than it is today, and there's never been a time in history where the supply of new artists is higher than it is today. So here you've got an industry with the high demand, high supply. We are the exchange. We are where fans and artists meet, and nobody is doing it better than we are.
Symbol's Venue Live, by the way.
Yep.
Great symbol.
Yep.
Venue Live.
Yep.
Now, somebody who wants to invest in one of the new places you're building, is that possible for someone to have a stake in the next amphitheater?
Absolutely, and we have a great team that does that. Go to our website, venue.live, as Coach said, and when you go there, you can click on investing, and you can look at all of the venues that we're building any place in the United States, and it will give you information on that. You can also come to our offices, whether here or in Dallas or wherever, and use virtual reality to actually sit in any of our venues, or buy a ticket and come out to the Ford Amphitheater this summer and catch a great show.
I saw the Steve Miller Band last year. Really good band.
Steve Miller Band was a great show we had this year, but we had just so many great shows. A fun place.
So someone should come and look at it because you can actually invest in one of the VIP fire pit spaces, right?
Yep.
And is that a lifetime ownership when you invest?
It is lifetime ownership. And I tell people this all the time, too. At the end of the day, the best way to understand what we do is to experience what we do. And the best way to experience what we do is come sit in my suite at the Ford Amphitheater.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Dang right you did. Yeah.
J.W. Roth, folks, and the symbol is venue, and then the website venue.live.
Venue.live. Love to have you as a shareholder.
Always great
Coach,
to see you.
thank you.
Yes. See you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Excited to dive into this. You have received the book, The Big Book on Retirement. Maybe you've started reading it. Well, we are here. I'm Thomas Lipscomb. We're here with best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda, who wrote this awesome book. And I thought maybe for this first little dive through the book, we could talk about why you wrote it. But folks, just in case you're wondering, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through this book chapter by chapter and getting a little bit of a, let's call it behind the scenes of the writing process, the intentions behind it, all that jazz.
This is book number 18 that I've written. And you know what happens a lot of times, I know it happens. People have given me books before. Somebody gives you a book, maybe a couple books you wanted to read. You haven't read them yet, so you say, I'll read this sometime.
Sure.
It gets put on the bookcase.
Yep.
And then it gets forgotten.
Yep.
So these are really good tools and techniques in this book. We're going to go through every chapter telling you why it's important, but you can really act on these tips and tools to get a better retirement. So that's why we wrote it. I didn't write it just to write a book. I've got plenty of books. I don't need any more books. But we wrote this for a very important purpose, and that's so you could understand how to really plan your own retirement.
It's true, and you've divided it into 5 key sections. You have game theory, tactics, offense, defense, and the 2-minute warning. Yeah. I love how you've made this analogy. You call it the big book on retirement, but you've made this great sports analogy here where you're kind of taking every element and comparing retirement in that way.
Well, there's a big game every year. We can't call it. It's a football championship. If you say the name, you have to pay the NFL.
I like Campbell's tomato soup, Coach.
Super.
It's super.
Yeah. So, but we all watch it.
Yes.
And the commercials charge a lot of money for the commercials.
Oh, yes,
but
they're so good.
It's the same theory, though. It's two teams going against each other. Sometimes you can tell one team was more prepared than the other.
No doubt.
We want you to be that team that's prepared to play offense all the way through retirement. In other words, doing what you want to do on your terms. And that's why I wrote the book. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to tell you why each chapter is important, but skim through it. Find some chapters that interest you. If you have any questions or if you want your own plan done, we're always available to do that. That golden ticket you have there, you got with the book, will show you how to get that appointment at no cost and put you in control of retirement. So it's all about having that game plan and mastering it and putting you in control. And that's what we're going to do with the book. We're going to tell you about each chapter, how each chapter can benefit you as well. Coming up.
Pensions and Social Security are guaranteed income streams for retirees. Unfortunately, pensions are a thing of the past, and Social Security may not cover all of your expenses. However, there's another strategy that can help. Dating back to ancient Rome, annuities are a savings vehicle that have helped many people on the road to retirement. In modern times, they provide a conservative savings strategy that might be right for you.
Quite simply, an annuity is a savings account offered from an insurance company. Now, there's some bells and whistles, and there's some things you need to know before you get into an annuity. Annuities are there for you for retirement. That's what annuities were designed for.
There are three main types of annuities: variable, fixed, and fixed indexed. They have some important differences, each carving out their potential place in a retirement plan.
First one is a variable annuity, which in my humble opinion is one of the worst financial instruments ever designed. Why? Because first of all, it doesn't provide you with safe money. Unless you start tacking on riders and this and that, and every time you add something on with a variable annuity, you start basically pushing up the cost. On average, the average variable annuity that I've seen in my lifetime has been with fees of 3.5%.
Variable annuities are tied to an index or a stock market or a mutual fund type account where your money can go up, but it can also go down. So to me, a variable annuity shouldn't even be considered in the annuity world, because to me, annuity means safety and have that financial confidence all the way through retirement.
Then there's also your fixed annuity, which is kind of like a CD on steroids, generally 3, 5, 7 years.
5%, 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the term's up. You either take your money and go home with it, or you take your money and renew it again. So that's cool. Then we have a fixed indexed annuity. Now your money is not in the market, but it's tied to an index that is market driven. So the beauty here, since you're not in the market, you never lose money. The market goes down, you get a zero that year. The market goes up, you share in the gain. Market goes down, you get a zero. You see, it's a lot easier to recover from a down market if you had a zero and not a negative 30, 40, or 50. And a lot of people have experienced the negative 30, 40, or 50 right before they were going to retire, and they couldn't retire.
5 to 7%. So you do give up a little bit of earnings on that. Actually, I don't look at it as being tied down. I look at it as being protected.
My period of time is a lifetime income, so we use these for retirement. It is in effect a pension account. The minute you retire or decide you want to start taking money, you get a lifetime income you can never outlive, even if your balance goes to zero. You pass away, your spouse continues to get that same income until they pass away. Both of you pass away, whatever balance is in there goes on to the next of kin or wherever you decide to go, churches, charities, wherever you want. In other words, you do not lose your money when you die. The old annuities of the past, the minute you died, the money went into the insurance company's pocket. Common misconception these days that Wall Street likes to push, because if they can get you not to put money in an annuity, they keep it under their management at risk. They make a lot more money in fees, expenses, and commissions, whereas you should have some of your money in a place where there's no fees, no financial termites, we call them, fees, risk, and commissions, and give you that lifetime income that you and your family deserve.
It's important to get the facts straight about all the different planning strategies at your disposal. That's why you should work with an independent fiduciary advisor. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial can help you navigate the financial world to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
What do you think is the number one tech aspect that's going to change the way everyone listening does what they do in the next 5 years?
You know, it's been in the news so much, but quite frankly, I don't think people take it as seriously as they should, and that is AI. And AI has, since its introduction into the...
What scares you the most?
So the happy thing to me is it's called artificial intelligence, and I really wish that they would rename it to assistive intelligence. I use it as an assistant, and it's an assistant that I have to train, I have to correct. AI certainly has its place. It has its place in a lot of devices. You know, some of the things that we might talk about, like lawnmowers, that were introduced at CES this year. You roll the lawnmower out, it gets the weather forecast, and it might say, you know what, I'm going to put off mowing the lawn until 3 o'clock because it's supposed to rain.
That sounds like I used to do, but I just put it off for a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't go back out to do it.
Yeah, right.
and you might say, hey, there's HOA rules that only allow us to mow, between 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock in the morning, and we can't do it on Sundays. That's off limits. So it could ask you some questions like that, and it could learn. And then, by the way, if it happens to be mowing your lawn for you and it's geo-fenced, because it will do that, and it finds something peculiar in your yard that you weren't expecting, well, not only will it document it, it'll mow around it, and, if it could do something to take care of the situation, it will, but otherwise, at least it notifies you there's a problem. Now, for remote homeowners, this is great, because after it mows your lawn, it goes back and parks in the recharging station, and it's ready to go again.
Hey, all right, so what is the scariest thing to you about AI going forward?
The scariest thing to me about AI is when it gets into certain applications that it shouldn't be in, and that there's nobody checking it or verifying it. For people that don't recognize that it's not perfect, it gets you in a lot of trouble. In fact, there's been attorneys, because quite frankly, AI today is great for law, but there's been attorneys that have used it in brief, and it's made up information that's just not correct.
Oof.
And it puts it in a brief, and let me tell you, a judge is not very happy when that happens.
What do you think is going to be in the, let's say in 2 years from now, what from CES is going to be almost a household item, do you think?
Smart city technology integrating with smart cars. We're seeing road signs that automatically update based on road conditions, accidents, and things like that. They start to detect backups, and they reroute traffic automatically. But now with smart cars, you're getting those messages because it knows your route. In fact, I've got a 2026 model now, and I don't even have to tell it when I'm heading home. It knows. It updates the route if there's any problems, and it gives me my ETA. So now when my wife calls and says, when are you going to be home? I could say, 13 minutes. But we are also going to see traffic lights get smaller or be removed overall. And that's where we're going to start to see technology migrated into vehicles that are predictive as cars enter intersections. They know what cars are coming what direction, and literally they're going to thread those cars together. And so if you happen to think about traffic moving without having to stop, it changes fuel mileage issues, pollution, gets you from your point A to point B more quickly. But I'll tell you what, first time we do that, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that one.
Yeah, I'm not going to look.
We are going to see driver-based cars go away. And a lot of people don't believe that, but it's the insurance companies that are pushing it. They are 100 times better at driving and having fewer accidents than the best human that they could compare to. Now, you tell me what that does to insurance companies and everything else. It will be here.
But to me, insurance companies then should charge 100 times less, but they won't.
Exactly.
Because I don't know why they're mouthing off, because they make a fortune charging people all sorts of rates. When, like, if my neighbor has a wreck, I get charged more. That kind of thing.
That's exactly right.
So to me, they better be careful what they wish for. They're going to do that FAFO kind of stuff, and they're going to be out of business when no one's having any wrecks.
In addition to that, what we're going to start to see is shared vehicle services, where when you want to go somewhere, it shows up and takes you there, and then it drops you off and goes and gets somebody else. So you won't have to really wait. But that's not that far down the road either.
It's almost, it sounds cool and it's great for technology in the future and all that, but I kind of like the freedom of doing what I want to do whenever I want to do it. I think we're going to have to overcome that with more of a automated and structured society going forward, it looks like.
Well, the technologists have been, this is one of the issues that technologists and psychologists have been analyzing. But yeah, there are shifts like that are going to occur. But right now, the thinking is it's going to open you up to some things that you've always wanted to do, but you didn't have the time to do.
Yeah, you're right.
And so, like you said, you might want to cruise around and listen to tunes. Well, now maybe you want to cruise around and just look at the sunset driving down the beach or going through the mountains or in the countryside, where you're not driving and you don't have. And they think they're less than a few years away from heart and kidney. Yeah, that is probably, to me, one of the most exciting things that really has been progressing well and was a big
huge
hit at CES this year.
Longevity will go up tremendously if you can just print a new heart out instead of getting a pacemaker or anything like that. Just put a new one in. That's yours, and it won't be rejected because your body will think it's the same one. All right, let's talk about the robotics real quick. What are you thinking there?
So we are starting to see humanoid robotics, and the real progress has come out of Japan. Japan has a major healthcare issue with older folks. And one of the things that they found out pretty quickly was the robots did a much better job with the care than the humans did, because the patient can be as grouchy, as insulting, or anything else as they wanted to be, and the robot doesn't have an emotional response, right?
I hear you. Yeah.
But what they found was, in order to get the human to engage with the robot, they had to put a face on the robot. And the more human-like they made the face, the more humans engaged with it. Well, it got to the point, even in its infancy, with faces that sort of looked human, they weren't great, that the healthcare patients wanted the robots instead of the humans. And you've got robots that are lifting 600, 1,000 pounds, moving it around in a warehouse type setting. Move over to the next booth, and they've got an exoskeleton that you could strap on for people that are quadriplegic or paraplegic that does the brain or eye connections to be assistive technology and allow you to move around without a wheelchair or anything like that.
Hollywood is ahead of science, or science is ahead of Hollywood? It's like that kind of thing.
Science follows Hollywood sometimes. But by the way, those things were all available and demonstrated at CES this year. So
what's the price on something like if you wanted one of those robots to like lift like move stuff for you and work in a warehouse? I guess like $30,000.
Well, it really varies. They start at the low end, about $6,000 to $10,000 for the home assistive robots that do your house cleaning and can do some cooking and things like that. So low end there, but they'll go up to well over $100,000 depending on what you want. And the sex technology at CES has actually become about 20% of the CES floor these days.
They say sex sells, man. I'm telling you. I'm like a Emeril Lagasse chef robot, and he'd like say "bam" and then bring my food to me. Remember, right? Or Chef Ramsay one that's cussing in the kitchen and bringing you good food. Beef Wellington.
Program it any way you want to.
It's just amazing, man. It's also worrisome at the same basically history when you think about it. It's, gosh, they'll talk about this like they did the Roman ages 3,000 years from now, I think, if we're still around.
I agree. And some of us may be.
I can't imagine trying to think, we talk in here, really, we talk short term, maybe 5 to 10 years. Right. I can't imagine where this is in 25 to 30 years. I really can't. It's progressing faster than the human imagination can really keep up with it.
You know, back in the day, a robot would just like on Lost in Space, warning, Mr., that kind of thing. But now the robots are more agile than we are. Crazy.
Yeah, and by the way, they've improved that base technology like we were talking about with recognizing emotions, being able to have more facial emotions with the eyes, the mouth, everything. And, they've gotten to the point where if you just do a quick glance and passing, you won't know that it's a robot. They're that good.
But remember, there was a movie probably about 25 or 30 years ago, Michael Keaton. It was Duplicity or something, where he invented like 5 or 6 robots that looked just like him. So basically, he just sat home and he sent them out to work and do all the hard stuff, and he took all the credit, made all the money. And then the robots started getting mad at him, though. They started getting smart on him. You remember that movie?
Ganging up on him. Yep.
What if we could just invent a bunch of Coach Pete's and send them out all over the place?
I only have one question.
Yes,
Is the world ready for that?
Welcome on in. This is Women and Money. Jackie Selby. I have the beautiful Jana Asplund and Amanda Daughtry. Hey, hey, hey. And of course, the one and the only Coach Pete DeRuta. Hey, Coach Pete.
Good to see you guys.
How are you?
This is going to be fun because we did one of these about 6 or 7 years ago, Women and Money. But times have changed. And that was pre-COVID. So after COVID, things have really changed. So I thought it'd be a good time to get my all-star cast together.
All right.
And let's have a conversation. If you're a woman watching, this will be good for you. It's good because I know that life gets in the way a lot of times, and we shift the burden and responsibility to planning for money to the other spouse a lot of times. Not the best thing, because we need to know what's going on.
So true.
If you watch this series, and we've got some handouts for you too, if you like it, well, there's numbers on the screen, you can get more information. But if you can watch this series and have a pretty good mastery of what we're talking about, you'll be all set in retirement. Or on the way to or through life, but you'll have a good retirement too.
Sure.
Yep.
And I think this is a fun representation of generational ladies here. We have, maybe, is it okay to say Amanda might be the youngest gal?
No, I'm 40.
Okay. Maybe I messed this up.
No,
Janice in the middle.
Janice in the middle.
And then I'm the elder gal here on the set.
And I'm not mentioning anything about any ages right here now. I'll keep myself out of trouble.
Like,
Coach Pete
no,
knows how
we're
to
not
stay out of
doing
trouble.
this. But I feel like we're at different stages in our lives. Don't you feel like?
We definitely are. It was so funny when you said we started. I was in the conversation, the original one, 6 years ago. And 6 years ago, I was still in my 30s. So that'll give you a hint.
Okay.
But also, I had a 2-year-old.
Yep.
And so as you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, just personally, how much has changed for me in 6 years? 6 years, I didn't pay as much attention to what you were saying because I was in the throes of it like you are. I was in the trenches. Every day was hard, and I was just trying to get through it because I had 2 little kids and a full-time job. It's still hard. I'm not quite in the trenches. But today, I have probably way different questions than I would have had 6 years ago.
Well, look at this. Between 2018 and 2023, women's wealth has risen 51%. That's from a survey by McKinsey. So that's, global wealth only rose 43%. So women are out wealthying. Is that a word?
Yeah, out earning.
But unfortunately, we're trusting the wrong people to make the decisions or to be the decision maker. So it's okay to have somebody in the family be the decision maker, but everyone in the family needs to know what's going on.
Yeah, and women are generally the caregiver, let's be honest. Yes. And we're also planning for the future for, let's say, my grandparents or my dad, or where are they going to live? Are they going to live with us? And so now we go out of the little kid stage, which I'm in right now because I have a 3-year-old, and then I'm going into my dad's going into a rest home type stage. So it's like, boom, it all just continuously hits you. So how do we stay disciplined in this type of environment to continue to save?
Yeah.
Do you find it interesting when folks come to meet at Capital that it's maybe just the man who kind of takes the lead and the woman fades to the background on the decisions or the explanation?
That happens more than it should. And then later on, sometimes the lady may have questions, but they're overlooked by the man sometimes. And he said, it's okay, we're going to be fine. I want to make sure both spouses are fine before we go forward and I sign it off on a plan. Because if it doesn't make sense to one, it shouldn't make sense to either.
Well, it's a lot of information. And like Amanda said, we're used to thinking about other things as women. So,
Well, part one is you need to find somebody you can trust and work with. And
that's for sure.
Whether it be a man or a woman or a team of people. We have a team here. We have men and women on our team. But and so we don't tell someone you can't meet. If you want to meet with a woman only, we can set you up with a woman only to meet with. I just think it's better to get everyone's perspective. We do a team philosophy here, so you'll meet with one person or a team of people, but then the whole team gets together and works on your plan.
Sure. Team and a plan.
Yeah, because so we do team here, so it's hard for me to understand. like you said, when the man and woman will come in and the man asks all the questions and basically the woman feels like she's not even allowed to talk. That shouldn't be that way.
Annoying.
Because as a man,
It is.
you see that.
All the time.
As a man, I know you guys are gonna outlive us.
Yeah.
And my wife is 7 years younger than me, and usually you guys outlive us by 7 years. So my wife has a pretty good deck of cards in her hand.
Well, especially when you're bringing a significant paycheck to the table.
Yes.
It's kind of like, where's my voice? I want to be heard. How are we investing? I want to diversify. I want to put my funds in different places. And the man's like, no, we should do this. So I think that when you have someone like you in place, someone like a Capital Financial Advisory Group, to sit down and say, hey, this is really the smartest thing to do. This is really the smartest thing to do. And that kind of takes the tension out of all of the planning, I think.
The best plan is one where you have a coach who's laid out the big game plan. So I'm the financial coach, lay out the big game plan, but you're the quarterback. And you have two quarterbacks. You have the male and the female, the husband and wife. And so you guys are the ultimate ones making the plays.
Yeah.
I've helped you design the playbook. It's up to you to run them the right way. And unfortunately, a lot of times, the man takes over and throws the playbook away for the woman, right? So we want to make sure both of you have the same playbook.
I think sometimes it's really uncomfortable to take the first step, though, because you either show up to a situation, whether you're buying a car or a house or coming here, and they immediately look at the husband or the male partner. You know, if the two of us are sitting there and they have the whole conversation with my husband, and that really trips my trigger because I want to say, there are two people contributing to this household income. You either get that, or you're so intimidated, you don't really know you don't want to look dumb. And so you really hesitate to make that first step because I don't want to look dumb. I am a feminist. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me tell you from the guy's side why and I see it too. I see the bad side too. I see what happens. I see when the guy just concentrates all on the guy, like the guys are just having chit-chatting about fishing and all that and golf.
Right, and here
they're
we are.
basically not paying attention to the woman. The other side says that
True.
if you are there with your husband, Eric, and I look at you too much, Eric might get mad at me. And so you might start thinking that I'm, trying to kick you
Never
under the table.
considered that.
So so that's what goes through my head because I don't want the husband thinking I'm hitting on his wife. In other words, so we have to be careful on that too. So as a guy, but I like to get both husband and wife involved, and I make sure to ask questions of both of them.
Yes.
And then when the husband answers, I say, well, how does that make you feel, Jana? And that's something that's overlooked a lot of times.
Sure.
How does it make you feel? And what do you want to feel in retirement? So these are all big questions that we have to factor in when we're putting together the proper plan.
You don't mind if we start a few questions here, Coach?
I love questions.
Okay, good. Does it surprise you that women are surpassing in the wealth area?
I hope not many guys are watching. No, it doesn't surprise me at all. Women are very smart when it comes to money, and matter of fact, make better decisions than men many times. There's my man card.
Right. Uh-oh. You better turn it in. But
No, women are on top of things a lot of times and want to learn, but a lot of times they're sheltered from it and not by their choice. Jana, in your life, I mean, now you're busy. You're both
Incredibly
you guys are
busy.
busy women.
so
Like all
busy.
three, you're busy working women. Back in the day, my mom took some time off from work back when she had three boys. I was the first one, but then she had to go right back to work because you have to make money.
Yeah.
And so, but she was more worried about bringing my brothers and I up and working than she was about having to manage the household. And my dad had a computer store and he was a college professor. So both of them were busy. And many times you felt like as a kid, we didn't have any money. It is because we didn't have much money. But my mom and dad made it, somehow got all three boys through college and succeeded. But lately, my dad's passed away now, but luckily I've been able to help mom navigate and the situation. And I had a book called I have a book called The Little Green Book of Life. And and it's 100 pages of interactive questions and answers so you can write down where your life insurance is, where your money is, where your passwords are, your obituary. And Dad did fill some of that out, so it made it a whole lot easier. So if you'd like to get a copy of that Little Green Book of Life, it's on Amazon. Just look up Little Green Book of Life on Amazon.
I've given it to everybody in my family.
Yes.
The thing I like about it is, ladies, we are going to inherit a whole bunch of money from our parents.
Yes,
Are we?
Yes.
Hopefully.
And you know how Coach Pete was talking about his wife is 7 years younger, right? So maybe you might pass first. We don't know. But anyway, so she's going to get his money. And then she's going to distribute that money to the children. So think about the impact of that.
Generational wealth.
And I have life insurance that's going to give her tax-free money, too, to do stuff with.
Oh.
So tax-free, that means get out of the picture, Uncle Sam. You're not invited to this party.
You have to call Coach Pete for this.
But
This
a
is
lot of-
amazing.
Step into my office.
Yeah, a
We'll
lot
see
of
what's
people
happening.
might be changing their mind on how they're going to plan in the long term because of that. They're thinking
Yes.
down the line, like, I might inherit my husband's parents' home, or he might inherit this, or we might So how does that impact how we plan long term? And I think if women start thinking about that earlier, that's the goal, is to get them to one up them, to raise them up, say, hey, you need to start thinking about this in your 20s and your 30s, and don't depend on other people that aren't doing it to give you advice on it. You got to depend on somebody like Coach.
Yeah, and a final point before we move on to the next segment.
Sure.
Because we're living longer. Men are living longer too, but women, you guys are living a long time.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we have income in retirement that's going to last the rest of our lifetime, not just for the first 10, 15, 20 years, but forever, because you could live to be 120. You could be good to 130, Jana. You never know. And so, but what if your money ran out at 83? What's happening then? So we set up guaranteed lifetime income plans. I'm a retirement income certified professional. RICP is the designation from the American College. I am trained to make sure people do not run out of money in retirement and have lifetime income that could increase, never decrease, all the way through their life. And check this out. When you start getting that income, let's say it's a husband starts getting the income and he passed away, you continue to get that same income all your life too. So it never goes away for both spouses. So if you're curious about that, you see the number on the screen, give us a call. We'll set up a time where we can diagram out where you are today and see where we could be tomorrow for you, where you could have a worry-free tomorrow.
Great. That's the first step to take, and we will be right back with some psychology of money and a little bit more fun here on Women and Money.
Hey everybody, it's Coach Pete with Matt Scuderi. Matt, thanks for coming today, by the way, appearing here. We're going to go over 9 ways to protect your nest egg, which we have them golden eggs because every single portion of your portfolio, to me, should be treated as gold. What do you think, Matt? There's a lot of people making mistakes out there in the financial world, so we're going to do this very informal type seminar here in the form of a webinar. We call it info series, just to educate you on 9 things you need to be paying attention to. We've jotted down some notes here to make sure that we stay on track, and we're going to try to do this in 30 minutes or less for you, so it's not going to be a long one. If you have more advanced questions, you see the chat button there. It's always going to be available if you have a question for us. If you'd like to request a meeting because you're attending this info series, there's no fee or obligation if you'd like to have your questions answered or request a meeting with one of our professionals, either in person or on the phone or on Zoom. It's amazing what we can do these days.
Yeah.
I used to, back in the 90s, I'd get in my car and go to see people at their kitchen table. And so we're available for that too, by the way. Never had more fun than visiting people at their kitchen table and going over things. And I ate real good too, by the way. And sometimes I'd be there during dinner time. But number 1, and these are things we need to identify, taxation. Yes. Protecting your retirement from tax burdens. Matt, you talk to folks every day. Are taxes a worry for folks?
Oh, yeah. It's the number 1 question just about every single time.
Yeah, especially when we talk about withdrawing money at retirement time, because that's when we figure out the real tax time bombs we have.
Oh, yeah.
Many of you watching right now probably have a lot of your money in 401ks, 403bs, TSAs or tax sheltered annuities or whatever, like different things out there. And some of them have more tax advantages than others. And then there's something called a Roth IRA. We're going to talk about a Roth later on here in this series. But just knowing what the taxation is going to be on your assets before you start taking it out, that's a good way to have a good plan. Because if you're not aware of the taxation, and how much you're going to lose for taxation, you get to retirement, you lose a lot of money, you don't have enough to pay the bills. Matt, very important to have over and above what we need for the bills, because we want to have fun during retirement, and one of the main reasons we can do that is to minimize taxation.
Absolutely, and I think kind of to your point is we want to make sure that we know exactly what the tax brackets are now.
Yep.
And always, of course, look into the future so we can plan accordingly.
We call that tax planning. So we look ahead. I mean, no one knows what the rules are going to be in the future, but we know about what they're going to be. Like we know the Roth IRA builds tax-free and comes out tax-free. Very important, by the way.
Yes.
Many of you watching probably have never had the Roth correctly explained to you, because that's why you don't have it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that say, I wish I would have known about the Roth. Yes. Well, the Roth has been around since the turn of the, well, I call it the turn of the century now, right before the year 2000. So it hadn't been around that long, but it's been around over almost 25 years now. So why haven't the financial institutions done a better job explaining that to folks?
You know, they just recently started allowing it to be an option in 401ks.
Yeah, very important. So if you have a 401k, make sure you take advantage of your Roth option in there for some of your money. Now, here's why people don't like the Roth.
Yeah.
Put the money in, you don't get a tax write-off.
Right.
We put money in our 401k, like usually our traditional 401k or 403b or even IRA at the bank. We like to be able to deduct that money from our taxable income that year.
Yes.
But the problem is once you do that, you're creating a tax time bomb. We're going to talk about that later on today, too. So we need to diffuse that tax time bomb and divide our money into proper places, and we can help you with that. All you have to do, though, is if you have a question, let us know. But very important, though, to pay attention to what the Roth IRA is, what it could do for you, and there's some other tax advantage vehicles out there in the financial world. If your advisor has not explained these to you in detail, you really need to have a thorough review to make sure you're in the right place. Best time to find out you're in the wrong place is today.
Yes.
Better time is yesterday, but tomorrow. There's no such thing as a bad time to get the right plan. Just make sure of that, okay? Number 2, treasure hunters, we call this. This is safeguarding your retirement assets for what happens when you're not going to be here anymore. So we all want to leave our assets to our children or grandchildren, want to make sure they get left in the right way, want to make sure what we leave to them actually gets to them. Matt, what happens in between when people die sometimes and the money passing on? Some bad things do happen, don't they?
Yes, it can just get tied up, and now that's just causing headaches for your family.
Yeah, or you could get sued. So, a delivery man could be coming up your stairs at your house, fall down, sues you because you're in a nice house. Maybe not even a nice house. They just sue you because they want to sue you, and they take all your assets. They find out you have some retirement money. They can sometimes get to your retirement money. So you need an umbrella policy. So make sure you talk to your insurance agent who sells you your car insurance and your home insurance, and make sure that you say, how much is an umbrella policy for $1 or $2 or $3 million? What an umbrella policy does, if somebody sues you, the umbrella policy will kick in and protect you. Do not tell anyone if you have an umbrella policy because they will sue you to that amount. So be very careful on that. But umbrella policy is very important. Utilizing the proper insurance. Also, having proper life insurance in place can give a tax-free asset to your children and grandchildren that you don't have to worry about that's not going to be lost in the stock market. If, like, let's say we have a market crash a couple years before you pass away, and half your money disappears and then you die.
Right.
Well, if you would have a life insurance policy, it would help make up for those losses in a tax-free manner.
Yeah.
How many questions do you think you get a week about life insurance? Probably not enough.
Not too many, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it's mainly because most people don't realize the certain tax-free aspects of it.
Oh, man, it's amazing. Now, if we go over $10 million or more in life insurance, we need a special life insurance trust called an ILIT.
Right.
But for most of the folks watching this,
Yeah.
$5 million, $6 million, $7 million, very, very affordable. And we're going to tell you later on how the new life insurance policies get you use the death benefit while you're here to pay for your long-term care stay. So stay tuned for that. That's very important.
Yep.
But if you have any questions about life insurance, about tax-free passing of assets, how to make sure you have that proper division of your money and in between taxable and tax-free and tax-deferred assets, and what are those three qualifications? A lot of folks don't understand taxable, tax-deferred, tax-free. We'll go through all three of those for you if you would like to do that in person. Customized to your own portfolio, because it's one thing for us to talk about it here.
Yeah.
It's another thing for people to really see it with their own eyes. So very important to make sure you understand there are people. Here's another thing. I've had people for nursing home protection. They've met with certain people who have advised them to delist all their assets and list them in their children's name instead, or their grandchildren's name. So you say, well, then you can qualify for Medicaid because you don't have any assets anymore. The problem is you have a lot of money. You've retitled into your children and grandchildren. Now the government knows you do this too, so they have a look back. It said, so if you do it within 5 years, they'll find it. But let's say you do it, and you're not worried about the government finding out or whatever, and you leave your assets to your daughter. And your daughter is getting ready to get married, and then she gets married, and then they get a divorce. She gets half. She gets all your money, but the spouse, which is the former spouse, takes half your money and leaves. Let's say that your daughter gets in a wreck, rear ends somebody. It's all her fault. She was on her cell phone or whatever. Maybe she'd been drinking or whatever. So big lawsuits happen.
Yeah.
And she gets sued for all the money that you gave her retitled in her name that's really your money. She loses all that money. So there's a lot of drawbacks to retitling assets. Be very careful on that. You've heard probably these stories too, right?
Oh, yeah. All time.
Yeah. Number 3 now, we're going to move right into nursing home disasters and make sure that we plan ahead for this. Because we're going to have a graphic here, Matt. Let's look at this graphic right here on the screen. The annual cost of nursing homes has gone way up. So look at how far it's gone up. So back in 2014, now this is for a semi-private room, about $75,000 a year. Now, to me, I've worked all my life. Now I have to go to a nursing home. Do I want to be a roommate again? I had a roommate in college. I didn't really like that too much. But look, now we're way over $100,000 for a semi-private room, and that's per year. So what I advise is look at long-term care insurance. Now, I've been licensed to offer long-term care insurance for about 30 years. 30 years. Guess how many long-term care policies I've written in 30 years?
Not enough.
0. Not a single one. You know why? A lot of people say, Coach, I need long-term care. I said, yeah, but let's look at this contract. The contract can go away once you need it. They can raise your rates and kick you out right when you need it. So you pay all these years and they take the money, they take their policy away because you can't afford it anymore. So the only way that I've advised, and I've done a lot of these, I've done one for myself, is to get a special life insurance policy that lets you use a death benefit while you're here. It's called a living benefit rider. They add it on your policy. Many times, folks, it doesn't cost you any more if you have a current policy right now and it doesn't have that on there. You can get the brand new policy without it costing you a penny because life insurance rates have gone down over the years. So you can get a better policy many times that has the long-term care option where you can use the money from the long-term care policy to pay for that long-term care. I mean, how good is that? That takes a peace of mind away, and life insurance never goes away. It's one of the only products known to man, to me, that does what it says. If you die, it pays your death benefit to your folks, tax-free. Tax-free, big thing. If you're living, it gives you some of the death benefit to pay for your long-term care stay, tax-free.
And
so it doesn't put you in a tax situation.
If you also end up not needing the long-term care coverage, you still have the ability to reach in and grab more tax-free as well.
Life insurance. And you also can live on some of it. If you set it up correctly, you can have a tax-free retirement account. We can show you how to do that too. So there's no better product than a life insurance product. But there's so many different companies, and many of them aren't good. So make sure before you get one of these, you make sure you get the best. These are A+ rated companies. Don't go for these B companies, folks. Our policy here at our company, we never recommend anything below A-. We want to make sure the company's there when you need it the most. This is the best known solution to the long-term care dilemma that I know. All right, so very important to make sure that you understand exactly what's going on in the financial world, and when we have new policies like this life insurance policy, Matt, back in the day, life insurance was a lot more expensive than it is today because we're living longer and they've adjusted the rates downward. So you may be in a policy now that not only does it not have that long-term care protection, but it's costing you more than it should.
Too much.
So let's at least analyze, do a review. I've met with so many people over the years who bring their policies in. They didn't really understand what they had. Had one person thought they had a permanent policy. It was a term policy. So if you have a term policy, it'll pay a death benefit within a certain term. It's not a bad thing. It's affordable. It doesn't cost much, but you're only renting the insurance. Because at the end of the period, you have to requalify many times, and you have to pay more premium because you're getting older, and insurance companies know the older you get, closer you are to not being here anymore. So again, get a permanent policy as early as possible. I mean, at your age, Matt, it's probably very, very cheap. I'm 58. It's a little bit more expensive, but you know the best equity you have when we're talking about life insurance is your health. You may not be able to qualify tomorrow if something happens. So that's why we want to get it and put it away and forget about it because it's there for you when you need it the most. You can also borrow against your life insurance policy's cash value down the road, but we don't encourage that unless you really need it. But there are a lot of great strategies out there. Well, you can be your own banker, basically. But make sure you get the right policy, folks. So if you have a question about that, or if you'd like to get a quote or see what it could mean for you and your family, to take that worry out of not only living through retirement, but living with the health scares now. You don't worry. If you have to go to a long-term care policy, you can pick a better long-term care facility. You can pick the best place because now you have almost unlimited cash flow when you think about it from some of these policies. So find out about that. Very, very important.
Coach, we've got some questions from listeners. We're going to spring them on you. I hope it's okay.
Question. Okay, good. Awesome. Oh, and by the way, all you have to do to have that question answered is to see that chat button there on the screen. Type your question in. You can put your name if you want, if you don't have to, and we'll answer it for you.
This one's interesting. They say they have a lot of assets but no retirement income. Say they're a little bit worried about that. What could they do?
So a lot of assets. See this a lot, but no income. Because the 401k, the 403b, most of them I've seen don't show you what you could get income-wise from that policy or for that amount you built up, and it sure doesn't show you that it could be guaranteed for the rest of your life. So there are ways to have proper income planning done. You've done a great job building that money up. Let's make sure you don't lose it, number one, from a market catastrophe. But number two, once we get to retirement, Matt, let's make sure we know with certainty what we can take out per year and never run out of money. When I say to pare some of that money away from the market, put it into we call it a GPI account. You put it in an account that's going to grow. It's going to protect that growth. So when you have growth, it locks into growth. And then whenever you choose, It'll give you a lifetime income you can never outlive from that balance. And some of these numbers, the withdrawal rates are 6, 7% compared to Wall Street model at 4%, and the 6 or 7% is guaranteed never to go away. And here's another thing, for both spouses.
Yeah.
You could have an IRA, which is an individual retirement account, and you could have your spouse on there, so if you pass away, the spouse continues to get that income.
Yeah.
It's a magical thing, folks. You have to see it to believe it, so make sure whoever wrote that in, make sure you get your own customized plan. Anybody else who wants here, based on the lump sum that you have, we can show you what kind of lifetime income you could be getting. Hey, does it hurt to see?
No, not at all.
I mean, it's enlightening a lot of times. We've had folks that come in and say, gosh, I could retire tomorrow based on these numbers.
Yeah.
They were thinking they had to work longer. So a true income plan. I'm a Retirement Income Certified Professional, RICP. That's from the American College. I'm trained to offer lifetime income. I mean, it's 3 intensive. You seen the course load? 3 intensive courses, 3 intensive exams, and I was one of the first RICPs when it came out about 10 years ago. And a lot of the professors I've had on my show, my radio show, so it's pretty cool. But it works for you folks, and the magic thing is to put you in control of your retirement, and that's what happens. It gives you a peace of mind now. You're not dependent on the stock market. We leave some money in the stock market, so you've got your income plan over here, you've got your stock account over here. Stock accounts can, and we recommend taking more risk than ever in a stock account after you have your safe income plan put together. So you could get a lot more money in the market, even if the market, you lost all the money in the market, still have your lifetime income plan. Folks, it gives you peace of mind, and that's our goal for all our clients, to give them peace of mind to and through retirement. All right, now, inflation.
Oh boy.
Not anyone's friend.
No.
We've talked about inflation forever. I've had 32 years I've been talking about it with clients, 21 years on the radio. Nobody paid attention, Matt, until a couple years ago.
Right.
When we started having let's look at this graph right here, folks. The inflation graph. This is what we call buying power. And I like to say, what if you had a big $100 bill in your pocket, and every year it just starts shrinking. And as it shrinks in size, it shrinks in buying power too. But look at what we're talking about. This is $100,000 right here. And what's happened over the last 20 years is the $100,000 purchasing power is now about $50,000, Matt. So you've lost half your money without doing anything bad. This is where you just had it. Maybe your money wasn't keeping up with inflation because we've had a high inflation rate lately. We always aim for at least 3 or 4% return per year to combat the normal inflation, but you have to have accelerated inflation coverage too. We saw 7, 8, 9% inflation.
It's a silent killer.
Yeah. And so then we have something called shrinkflation. That's where they shrink the size of the item you're buying, but they raise the price. The double whammy in the wrong direction. So, again, what can we do to combat this? Well, number one, we need to make sure we don't lose any money. Number two, and when I say not losing money, I'm not just talking about the stock market. We're going to talk about this in a minute. I'm talking about financial termites. And that's risk, fees, and commissions you don't need to be paying. You may be in an account where the person who put you in there is making a lot of money every single quarter on you, and you're not making anything, or you're not hardly making anything, or you're not keeping up with inflation. Get with us for a true inflation-protected plan. If you'd like to get an example, again, based on your numbers, which I always recommend, in your income plan, you see the chat box there, just request it. We'll be more than happy to go over that with you. Okay, so inflation, not a fun thing, but we need to talk about it. We need to address it. Kind of boring topic for a while, but it's not too boring anymore when we talk about going to the store. You know, I rile people up sometimes, say, well, you know, you remember going to the grocery store 5 years ago? What did it cost you? Because we usually get the same things when we go to the store. We might add a couple junk food things we don't get every time. But you always get the milk, the bread, those kind of things. The vegetables, avocados, they've doubled in price the last 5 years. I love avocado. I eat avocados like apples. So it's we see it. You see it. Everyone sees it. So what do we do about it? We can all complain about it. Or we could put a plan together that helps us be in that top 10% of people who understand it, and also their plans will counteract inflation. So very important, Matt. Another thing is litigation. This is our 5th point here. Litigation means, we talked about this briefly. We can do everything perfectly in life, and somebody can still sue us. We don't want to be sued. Or a divorce. It's litigation. You build a plan for both you and your spouse, and everything will be fine once you get to retirement, but then you decide not to be together anymore, so now you need 2 houses. You need 2 loaves of bread every week, you know, 'cause 2 different refrigerators, right? So 2 different places. So we need to make sure we have a plan that could still help us if something like that happens. Lawsuit protection, people get sued, so you need that umbrella policy we talked to before. Certain trusts, if you meet with attorneys, we have attorneys we recommend, they can put together a plan. I like to say nothing's 100% bulletproof, though.
Right.
If something goes wrong, but it gives you a lot more protection if you have the proper legal documents. Another thing is, beneficiary designations.
Yes.
So let's say that maybe you fall out of favor with one of your children and you leave them as a beneficiary, or maybe they get married to somebody you don't like or whatever, and you leave them beneficiary, and you pass away, and your children get the money, and the other spouse that's leaving the family, they take half with them. So there's a lot of stuff we need to set things up correctly. You could do this in special trusts or beneficiary designations.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone the other day. They had their 3 kids on there, and he was like, that one hasn't talked to me in 20 years. So I was just like, we got to get that fixed.
So review your designations, your beneficiary designations each and every year. I know it seems tedious, but sometimes we forget. We've heard stories before where someone did get a divorce and they never adjusted their beneficiary designations, and then they got remarried and they still had the old spouse as a beneficiary on your life insurance. And it's hard, very hard, to get that reversed if you're passed away.
Yes.
So your ex-spouse could benefit. So another thing is TOD and POD on your accounts. Transfer on death, TOD, is for brokerage accounts. That's sort of a beneficiary designation. POD, payable on death, your bank accounts, your CDs. This will bypass probate, and that'll save you some time and heartache in the future if you do that. Yeah. And so that leads into our 6th point here is probate. And so those TOD and POD, very, very important to make sure that, probate's a process. It means when you pass away. Now, if you pass away, if your spouse passed away and you're still here, there's no probate process. Everything that's in your name is yours. If you're jointly listed, you control that jointly. So.
Hey, Coach, here's an RMD question. Someone says they have to start taking their RMDs, the required minimum distributions, right now, and they've got several different accounts. He's wondering, which one should they pull from first, and how does he know?
The most important thing is we need to look at where these monies are categorized. Yeah. So if some of these IRAs are Roth IRAs, it is not even included in that equation for the minimum required distributions, and you don't have to take money out of it. But you could down the road if you want, tax-free. But if it's a regular IRA account, if one is outperforming the other one, or maybe you don't like one of them, you can take all the money needed for all the IRAs out of one account if you want. Yeah. Just make sure you have an advisor who understands, and we have a battle plan put together, because if you try to do it yourself, you might forget. Maybe you're only taking the required minimum distributions out of one of your accounts and you forget about 2 others. You know what the penalty is if you fail to take it? 50% of what you're supposed to take. 50% penalty by... I really blame advisors for this many times, because they need to have an open conversation and dialogue with you every single year about where your IRAs are, and make sure you have paid those minimum required distributions by December 31st.
Yes.
You seen anything that you want to add to that, Matt? It's it's kind of crazy, isn't it?
I would be curious to know why she has 3 separate IRAs.
Yeah, a lot of times we recommend that you roll all these IRAs together in one super IRA and then have an income plan attached to that. So now you not only have that money in a safe place, but now you have lifetime income you can never outlive. And then we can show you how to take the money out for the MRDs. A lot of people tell me they don't even need the money, but they're made to take the money out. So we've had strategies before where we turn the tables on the government. They make you take money out of your IRAs because you have to pay tax on it, then take that money and buy a life insurance policy that will give a big number tax-free to your next of kin, and give you that long-term care protection too. So now you're utilizing that money for something besides just blowing it on something. I got money, let me go blow it somewhere. But I always encourage you to have fun with some of your retirement money, because that's why you put the money away. Right? And I had a client once tell me he started flying first class right before retirement. I said, "You're moving on up like George Jefferson." He said, "Coach, if I don't spend it, my daughter will." So, enjoy your life. That's what we're here. Stock market. Mitigating market risks in your retirement portfolio. Now, it's fun to be in the market when we're putting new money in and we're working at a company and we've got plenty of money coming in and we can take the ups and downs of the market. But when we retire, we don't need these ups and downs anymore, because we may be dependent on that money in the market for lifetime income. You don't want your income to go from this kind of amount one year down to this amount the next year. But if the market's fluctuating like that, using the market rules, the Monte Carlo simulation, taking 4% out, you could get less money out each year. So that's why we need a lifetime income plan with some of our money, right? That's how you help yourself mitigate the risk of the market. What's a good strategy, Matt, do you think, to protect folks if they have maybe 5 or 6 years to put money away to protect themselves from the fluctuation of the market? Is that a long enough time period to keep all their money at risk if they're like 5 years away from retirement? I don't think so. But
no, I would say, I'd probably say 10 years is probably a good sweet spot to start transitioning some over, for sure.
I would ask myself, how comfortable are you in your current risk allocation if the market went the wrong way? It's fun when it goes up.
Yeah.
What we call the standard deviation. Based on the risk you're taking right now, what kind of growth could you get with that risk? But more importantly, what kind of loss could you have if the market went the wrong way? And so let's say if you have $1 million portfolio and the market goes up 40%. Well, now you have 1.4 million on the good side, but let's say it went down 40%. Now you have 600,000. Are you willing to lose $400,000 of your $1 million retirement just by having your money in the wrong place? You've already got to the finish line. You're right there. You're getting ready to win, and instead you turn around and run the other way.
Yeah.
Seen this in football sometimes. The guy scoops up a fumble and he runs the wrong way. We can't have that happen with money we can't afford to lose. So that's just very important. So if you want to have your own lifetime income plan put together, make sure you understand all the little things that go on behind the scenes and make sure to put you and your family in control and give you that freedom you deserve. Just hit that chat button over there and ask us a question or request a consultation with the team, and hey, it's non-threatening. We'll just ask you what you want to do in retirement, ask you what you have put aside, where it is, and then we'll design a plan that meets what you said you want instead of what the broker wanted to sell you.
Yeah.
It's a novel concept these days. All right, so that's the stock market part right there.
Coach, we're getting a lot of questions from listeners. This is an interesting one.
Okay.
If I'm no longer employed, he asks, can I roll over a 403B plan into an IRA or a Roth conversion?
Why, yes, you can.
Yes.
And there's special rules with the Roth. You want to make sure you deal with a professional who knows the rules, so you don't want to do the wrong thing, especially the government punishes you with that. But it really makes sense many times because you use that 403B, which, by the way, 1992, my first year in the financial world, and from 92 all the way to 2000, I worked with teachers exclusively, helping them start their 403B programs, which was sort of like a 401k, able to build it with a tax-free dollar. And I had a lot of teachers retire early because of that. They put money away tax-free. And so then I said, well, I got to learn about this retirement thing. So then I specialized in retirement since the year 2000. But it just makes sense now to consolidate into a place that gives you lifetime income and or a Roth. You can do a Roth and have lifetime income too. The beauty of that is that income is now tax-free.
Right.
Matt, tax-free is a great phrase in retirement.
It's awesome, and it makes our job a lot easier as well.
It does. All right, now, this is the one that I'm ashamed of in this industry here. The financial industry and arena has so many we call them brokers behaving badly. Unscrupulous folks, doing the wrong thing, doing what's great for them and not for you and your family. So we want to identify conflicts in the broker world out there. You know, we call them financial termites. Have they loaded your accounts up with too many risk fees and commissions to benefit them and not you? Let's look at what some brokers do. It's called churning. They have your money. They're going to help you manage your money. Yeah. And all of a sudden, they're making a lot of trades every year, Matt. They've got their fees. The commissions come out. Every time they make a trade, they not only get a trading fee, sometimes they put you in high commission products.
Yes.
And so you see the blue graph here is somebody who doesn't have a churning account. Maybe they've got an account like we talk about, the retirement autopilot accounts or the financial fill-up strategy that has your money grow and then protect your growth and give you lifetime income. Or you could be in this orange type bar. This is where a broker's churning away. You're losing money over the years because you can't keep up. Your return can't keep up with the fees that are coming out. And by the way, every time they take a fee out of your account or any kind of money that goes out of your account, that's money you don't have there the next year building interest. So that's a compounding effect in the wrong direction. We can eliminate these. We do these every single day. Call me a financial exterminator sometimes. We need to get rid of this, and we can help you. Many times, Matt, tell the folks, it's hard to see that on a statement, isn't it? They can hide the churning many times.
Yeah, absolutely. They stuff it near the back or sometimes very small fine print. So.
Yeah. So here's a question. When's the last time you had a professional review your portfolio? Not a salesperson, but a professional, a true professional, and not somebody who's not licensed in the financial world. Oh, yeah, my brother-in-law, who's a mechanic, said my portfolio is great. All right, well, what's his or her qualifications, right? So we need to make sure we get a quality plan. I write about that in my book, The Big Book on Retirement. You see it right next to me over here. We've got a camera angle right there. Big Book on Retirement.
Hey, Coach, a question from a listener. He says, my wife and I are disagreeing about our pending retirement and how to estimate future returns from our investments. Now, what approach do you think we should use as far as being reasonably conservative but yet still wanting to max it out?
Hey, Matt, do you think people ever argue about money?
Yeah. All the time.
We'll let you. What do you think with that one? That's a pretty good question.
If you want to be conservative, I would go on the low end.
Yep.
Maybe 5-6%.
Yep.
But I think the better way to look at it is maybe see how much you need to mark your standard of living and kind of back engineer from there, because you may already be there.
Yeah, and they may, I didn't hear the word income in here at all, so I don't think they have an income plan. So looking at the balance you have right now, if we can look at what kind of income we could get from certain parts of that balance.
Right.
We'll show you how much income from the whole balance, and then we'll put 50% of balance, 40%, 80%, whatever. And then you choose what kind of income you'd want. And this is lifetime guaranteed income.
Right.
This isn't games and gimmicks. This is in writing, the guaranteed minimum.
Right.
Could always be more, not less. The problem with the stock market model, it could always be more, yeah, but it could also be less.
Right.
We want something that zero is the worst we could do per year. We want to make sure we have lifetime income from that. So I think if we, like you said, if we reverse engineer into looking at where you are with your money now, what the balance is and where you could be and what kind of lifetime income you could generate, it may make a little sense, and you may have more money than you ever imagined to be able to do everything you want to do in retirement. Yeah. That takes a lot of the confusion away from planning,
right.
And that gets us into the number 9 section here on the how to protect your nest egg, is confusion gaining clarity in retirement planning. And I think that was a really good question to lead right into this, because there is a lot of confusion in retirement planning. How can people eliminate some of this confusion? Get informed.
Come talk to us.
Make sure you deal with a fiduciary planning organization. Now, what does a fiduciary mean? It means we always have to put your needs above our needs. We cannot take commissions out of your money. Very important. Yeah. There's a lot of people every quarter you're seeing commissions disappear out of your money. Now, if you're dealing with a money management fee, they have a quarterly management fee. That's a little different. That is not included in the fiduciary law, because that is a disclosed fee that's coming out, a management fee they call it. But commissions should not be coming out of your money. Right. We are compensated by financial institutions out of their money, not your money. Very important distinguishing remark right there, because a lot of folks don't understand that, and they're letting someone milk them.
Yeah.
And I always say, whose retirement are you funding, yours or your broker's? So make sure you understand what's going out. And a lot of the fees are not disclosed readily, so we can do that analysis, an x-ray of your portfolio, to put you in a better place. And when we get in a better place, when we can see lifetime income, the worry eases away, the confusion's gone. We never want to be confused. You need to always understand. You should be meeting with your advisor at least once a year to understand that roadmap you're on and make sure you're hitting the proper waypoints, we call it. And if not, make adjustments to get you on the right track. We spend a lot of our time, I call myself a financial janitor sometimes. We spend a lot of our time cleaning up messes created by other financial professionals. Yeah. You don't have the proper life insurance policy. Maybe you've never heard of the life insurance that has the long-term care, that'll pay for long-term care out of your death benefit. If you haven't heard about that, you really need to hear about that. A lot of people don't know you could have guaranteed lifetime income based on the money you already have put aside. Yeah. You may not even have to, you could retire, you may be able to retire yesterday because you have enough money, and you may be thinking you have to work 5 more years. Yeah. So let's get the money allocated in the right place. Let's get a plan put together to make sense for you and your family. Let's give you that financial freedom you deserve. Matt, we make available now through the chat box. Request an appointment if you'd like to have your own plan put together. We call it a total retirement plan. About 22 steps behind the scenes we do to take all the confusion and worry out of the financial world for you and your family. Matt, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, Coach.
Look for more exciting webinars like this from the Retirement Countdown series. We'll see you soon. And visionary engines, and it really does put you in control. And visionary engines, and it really does put you in control. It's good to see, Dave. I mean, if you do certain things, what could happen, right? Hey, I'm Coach Pete D'Arruda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So, people use the traditional 4% rule, like taking money out of a diversified portfolio. What are some of the risks with that?
The 4% says you can take 4% of your balance out each year, supposedly, and be okay. Have about a 92% chance of not outliving the money. But Tommy, if I got on a plane and the pilot said, "Hey, everybody, we're getting ready to go to New York City today. We've got about a 92% chance of landing safely," I'd be that guy. A couple of years ago, the flight attendant freaked out, pulled the chute, and grabbed the 6-pack and went down the slide. That would be me. Because I need 100%. When we're talking about money, there's no excuse not to have 100% safety and security for money we need for a future.
Yeah, especially with the mortality credits of some of these guaranteed lifetime income annuities. They can pay out huge payout rates that you can't get from bonds or
Well, and then you won't run out of the money. And so we've seen 6 and 7% payout rates compared to that 4%, and the 6 and 7 are 100% guaranteed to always be there.
Yeah, and people who are in their 70s and 80s can get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%.
Getting financial fill-up strategies right there.
The older you are, the higher the guaranteed payout.
Exactly.
Welcome into our series, Tax Savvy Retirement. That is the latest book by best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda, who's sitting here with me. I'm Thomas Lipscomb. We're going to be going through all chapters of this book that are meant to, we talk about this, you've talked about this in your big book on retirement, Financial Safari, properly setting up all aspects of your retirement plan as you head into retirement. And this is specifically for taxes.
Well, unfortunately, taxes are a big part, positive and negative, of a good retirement plan. So if you have your tax situation under control, it's a positive situation.
Yes.
If tax situation's out of control, it could be a huge negative, and not only for you, but for your next of kin. When you pass away, you want to make sure that they're inheriting something that's nice, not a tax time bomb. So we go through that in the book. There's a lot of different tools and techniques here, and just ways to identify the tax situation you're in now, but also how to minimize that going forward. The tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind for the tax man. And so we broke it down pretty simple in this book. It's over 200 pages.
Yes.
You received it. Now what, right? So you get the book, it's sitting there. We don't want it to end up on a bookshelf gathering dust when it could be used to help you right now.
There you go. Yeah, that's very true.
That's what we wrote it to help you now, later, and forever.
There you go. And it's so great. We cover everything from charitable distributions to basic, I want to bring up this example. One of our co-hosts here, Bruce, had a friend who decided to take his 401k out because he wanted to roll it over to another company, and he didn't do it in the right amount of time and suffered one of the big things we discuss in this book, which is a big old penalty.
Bruce brought that up to us during a radio show. He said, I have a friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a friend.
You hope it's a friend, right?
And he told us what happened, but he told us way later than he should have. I mean, his friend should have told us before he did it. We could have given some free advice here of things not to do. He did exactly what he shouldn't have done, but he didn't know any better.
There you go.
And that happens a lot of times. But you have 60 days when you take money out of an IRA to put it back into a different IRA or put it back into that same IRA. But he took that money home and didn't put it anywhere for like 90 days. And right away, he was young too, by the way, so he owed a 10% penalty on the money. You take money out of an IRA before 59, it's a 10% penalty. You don't get that back. Plus, all that money becomes taxable, and you have to pay tax on that. So he whammied himself. It cost about 40% of that money disappeared in taxes and penalties.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah.
We have got 245 pages of content to discuss that can help you mitigate things like this, prevent them from happening, start asking the right questions. So folks, stay tuned. But I do want to let you know, maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. Maybe you're someone like me who drives a whole lot. The audiobook is available at CoachPete.com. Freely available. Just head over and you can download your copy of it. But even more than that, if you already know that taxes are an issue, you know that you need to get a handle on them, and you want to talk to Coach Pete's fiduciary team just to get that aligned with your goals and your plan in retirement, the time to act is now. We're going to make this opportunity available at the end of every video, but call in, set up that discussion with one of his fiduciary planners so that you can be on the right track for this really beautiful time of life.
Let me give you a life hack here. Download the audio at CoachPete.com. Look for the Tax Savvy Retirement audio.
Yeah.
Play it while you're looking through the book.
That's good, yeah.
It really helps you remember things more when you have somebody reading it to you, but you see that we've got a lot of diagrams in the book too, and so it helps you understand a lot better. And you can take notes in the book with a pen. Make notes in the book. This is your book, folks. You don't have to, remember we weren't allowed to write in our books back in the day. You get in trouble with your parents. You can write in this book. It's your book. It should be a reference book, not a book that just sits on the bookshelf. So have fun, and look forward to seeing you every single week with a different chapter summary as we go forward.
Love it.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
Not all cryptocurrency is like a meme coin. There are some functional coins, like we said, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Solana, XRP, which is Ripple, Nano. These are transactional coins. These help you move assets from you to somebody else in exchange for something.
There you go.
And so you really have a value. They have a value just like our US dollar does. And so it's acceptable currency. Whereas, what are you going to buy with fart coins?
Right. It's freedom.
Or the hot Tua coin, or the Trump coin. And
There's all the different
they do a
ones,
name and then they pump it up. It is like the penny stocks.
It is.
With no value. It's sort of like that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. They were selling junk. That's junk too.
I want to start with REITs because there may be a lot of people out there who don't even know what a REIT is. So a real estate investment trust.
It's a group of investors get together with a manager who can't buy a skyscraper individually, but they pool investors' money together and buy big things like that, shopping centers. So that's what they use to show you how great it is in these very glossy brochures, and they do dinner seminars too for non-traded REITs. So let's do a non-traded REIT first. A non-traded REIT is it's not listed on the stock exchange yet, so it's not traded. So you put money in, the only way you can get it out, the money out, is if that becomes a tradable REIT. Now, they sell it on income. They say, hey, we're going to get income as long as we have 90 or 95% occupancy of our shopping center, everything's going to be fine, or you're going to get a great return. What's happened the last few years? Do people go into work a lot? How many of them are sitting with maybe 50% occupancy? Now it's not making enough money to even pay the bills. The building, like the non-traded REIT people are on the hook for the big mortgage payment for these big skyscrapers. So then what happens is they are forced into bankruptcy, these non-traded REITs. Now, I want to get to that. Let's put a pause button here. Let me tell you what a traded REIT is. You can look up traded REITs on the internet, and these are basically symbols that you see in the stock market. You can buy it today and sell it tomorrow afternoon, or you can buy it at 10 and sell it at 10:05. Some pay a dividend. I like dividend stocks. That means you're getting paid to take a risk. And yes, it's risky because at any time you buy a stock, it could go down, right?
Yeah.
That's a traded REIT. Now, the non-traded REITs, you're at the mercy of the company behind it. And here's some breaking news. As of February 3rd, 2026, and here's one of the companies that's been peddled like crazy around this area, Inspired Healthcare Capital has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This follows a period of significant instability starting in July 2025. Which includes suspension of distributions. All investors' distributions and new offerings were halted in 2025 of July. So if you had a broker pushing it to you and they sold it to you after July, there's some really bad stuff going there. But SEC investigation right now is underway, and legal action, numerous lawsuits and FINRA arbitration claims have been filed by investors alleging misrepresentation, unsuitability, and breach of fiduciary duty due to the high fee structure and then the loss of principal that happened after that. So these were sold, Thomas, the people that I've talked to that got led down this path, they were sold as a safe investment. There's nothing safe about a non-traded REIT. We're not going to spend the whole show going through this, but if you have a non-traded REIT and you want to have somebody, in addition to the broker who sold it to you, tell you about it, give us a call, because the broker who sold it to you is going to tell you all good things, and don't worry, because they're worried about being sued right now. One of the things they're using to sell these a lot of times is they're selling long-term care facility non-traded REITs. And they're trying to say, well, look, everyone's going to the nursing home. But a lot of these, after they get the money, they still don't build the facility. Let's say you had $1.5 million, okay? And they recommended you put $1.2 million in a basket of, let's say, 4 or 5 non-traded REITs. And they sold it to you where you're going to have all the income you ever need from these non-traded REITs because they're going to pay you blank, blank, blank. And you get in there, and a year and a half later, after you've been getting a little bit of payments, the payments stop. And not only do the payments stop, you can't get your principal back. They don't cover this when they're selling it to you. And I've always said, if an investment has to be sold to you, you don't need it. You should want something. Like when we meet with folks, they want lifetime income they can never outlive. They want insured guarantees. That's why we offer those. Let's say that when you put in $1.2 million, so when you get your statements, he puts them in 4 or 5 different REITs. So you have to add the numbers up to your initial statement showing what you put in. And it comes back at $1,050,000. Wait, you put $1,200,000 in. Now your balance shows $1,050,000. You've lost $150,000 just by putting the money in because guess what? Somebody reached in and took a bunch of commission out. Don't make that mistake. Stay away from non-traded REITs. It really, I'm going to use a word, it pisses me off that somebody's out there doing this, Thomas, because I mean, I picture what if your mom, what if that happened to your mom? What would you do? You'd want to find somebody. You'd want that.
I'd be
explained.
furious.
And you can't claim ignorance as the person selling it because if you don't know what you're selling, you shouldn't be selling it to begin with. Period.
I agree.
Same thing with managed money. A lot of these managed money guys are selling mutual funds inside their managed wrapper, so they're charging you a management fee, and then the mutual fund company also charges you a management fee. Wouldn't you want to insure your income and not give it to these guys peddling these non-traded REITs? The only retirement you're insuring is your brokers when you give them that money because they're taking money right out of your money. I am really adamant and really ticked off about what I've seen this week, and this gals who are doing it, they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves, and they should get back onto the insured money methods and not offering these junk products they're selling to people that are unsuspecting, and they get them with a little folksy attitude when they go in, and then they get screwed into the investments like this. So be very careful, folks. There's a lot of games and gimmicks out here, and it's all designed for the broker to make money instead of you. And I always say, whose retirement are you funding? Yours or your broker's? I can 100% confidently say we've helped every single person that I've ever met with in my life because we put them in lifetime income strategies. I am a retirement income certified professional. If you want a review of your portfolio, the best time to find out if you're in the wrong places right now, give me a call. For the next 10 of you, we'll sit down with you and go through Coach Pete's Power Plan, which talks about insured lifetime income and no games and gimmicks. And we are a fiduciary team because we stand behind everything we do, and we treat you just like we treat our own parents.
All right, you pretty much have a book for everything. So how do we find your books? Where do we find them at? Where can I get a copy of all of them?
Yeah, the beautiful thing is you can go to Amazon and pay for them, or you can go to CoachPete.com, and all our books, or most all my books, are there as a PDF. So you can download them. And then we have a video series that goes along with the books that I feel the important books we have that will go through each chapter and tell you why it's important to read them and what you're going to learn there. Sort of like a video cliff note version, Amanda, on the video series. So once you get the book, we're going to start sending you a new video every week on each chapter, chapter 1, 2, 3, and up to whenever it's done. And then we have a summary of the whole book. So this is a good way. That way the book just doesn't sit on the shelf. It gets put to use. And most of my books are great reference manuals. So you can do it yourself for your own retirement plan, or I can help you guide you the rest of the way.
How do you determine the topics that are going to be included in your financial books? Because you have, financial termites, you've got tax-savvy retirement. How many books do we have?
Well, I've got 20 books now. And so
the big book of retirement.
The big book on retirement, that's the biggest book. No, it's not. The Through the Years book is the biggest book. So we went from 1909 all the way to 2024 and told you relevant facts and the same facts like inflation, what the stock market was, what a car costs for each year. So it's fun to go back. I used to get these birthday cards that said, you were born in 1966. Here's what a loaf of bread costs. Here's what milk costs. Here's a famous car, the famous actors.
Yeah.
We do the same thing with the Through the Years book.
1985.
Okay.
And we've got cost of living, and I'm looking at 56 cents for bread, milk $2.26 a gallon, gold $327 an ounce.
Wow.
What is it now?
Over 5,000.
Oh,
right around there. It's crazy,
gosh.
isn't it?
Mortgage was 12% interest.
Well, yeah, those are hard. That's a big one there. But houses were a lot lower in price.
That's nuts. I'm looking at this gold number, and I'm wishing I would have invested in that.
Yeah, I wish you could, but you know, it bounces around, and it's good to have a little bit of gold at all times. It's good to have a good portfolio, a proper balance, and have that total retirement plan. The reason I write books is that people ask me questions, and I said, well, a lot of people ask the same question. It's time to write a book.
Okay.
So my big book on retirement shows you how to have lifetime income you can never outlive and design the right plan for the whole life for you and your spouse. So the next 10 people call, we'll put together for you your very own total retirement plan, and you'll get my book, the big book on retirement, when you come in.
And welcome back into our series on the Tax Savvy Retirement book by Coach Pete D'Arruda. I'm going to say one of your latest books at this point, because I'm sure by the time somebody might watch this, you could have another one out.
19 books now. 19. So we've got to get a 20 out there, right?
We have to
stop at 20 at least.
We have to.
Maybe it'll be 30 by the time I get done. But
Yeah.
I keep saying it, this is my last book, and then I say, well, there's so much other information that people need, especially when it relates to taxes and retirement and how to minimize taxes, how to understand taxes, and how to put taxes on your side instead of against you.
And that's what this chapter is all about, understanding the tax landscape in retirement. So let's take a deeper dive into this. What is kind of the point of this chapter, understanding the tax landscape, and what are some key takeaways that you think people should focus on?
When you think of landscape, I picture like one of the first pictures I saw of the moon.
Oh,
That's
sure.
the landscape of the moon. It had little hills, and it also had valleys and craters and stuff. So you don't want to fall into a crater or a trap door you don't realize. And so understanding things ahead of time can really help you navigate taxes and retirement in the future. And so knowing some of the simple rules that are out there, like we talked about in the intro, if you have an IRA and you're under 59.5 and you take the money out, you're going to owe a 10% penalty right away and taxes on that money if you don't put it into a brand new IRA.
Yeah. Yep.
So be very careful. Most planners can help you get from one IRA to another without any penalties or proof on your behalf that you really did it, because it's all electronic. From one financial institution to another, it's already done, so you don't have to worry about the IRS getting mad at you.
Yeah.
So that's really one of the keys that we go forward to. We talk about in the book a lot, is keeping the IRS on your side, not against you.
I like that.
Using the rules in your favor.
That's good. You know, something else that is discussed here is the Secure Act, and I'm sure a lot of people may have heard this in the news. They weren't really sure. Maybe you know a couple of things of how it could affect you, but the Secure Act, this was a pretty big change for the retirement landscape.
One of the big things here is there used to be something we would recommend called a stretch IRA.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and they took it away in the Secure Act.
They did.
Stretch IRA said, hey, I've got an IRA here, a big amount, let's say, and I'm going to pass away, and I know I'm not going to use all that money, so let me leave that money to my, let's say, my granddaughter, who would be 10, maybe let's say she's 10 years old when I die at 80, right?
Right, yeah.
And so she inherits my IRA, and now she doesn't have to pay tax on that. She inherits it, and then she has to take out just a small amount of money each year in that IRA, and it continues to grow for her lifetime. They took that away in the Secure Act. You can only do that for 10 years now. So when you die, your granddaughter can only get 10 years and bigger payments, which are more taxes. So that's what the government wants to make taxes. Again, the stretch IRA is not what it used to be. But again, there's some other ways out there to help you on taxation. So some life insurance policies sometimes make more sense because you can leave a tax-free death benefit to your next of kin, using your money in your IRA to arbitrage into the life insurance policy to turn it back into tax-free. So there's a lot of creative ways we can put a plan together that makes sense. And that's why we offer a no-cost consultation, by the way. You got the bookmark in the book has a golden ticket.
Yes.
But you can also call anytime you see us on this video. We've got the CoachPete.com, where you can call the number you see right on the screen to request a consultation with my team to put a total tax and retirement plan together for yourself and your family.
Folks, do it right now. Call that number you see. There is so much power that goes into Coach Pete's total retirement income plan. Start yours today and stay tuned. Chapter 2 is coming right around the corner.
Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
Social Security is one of the backbones of retirement planning and relied upon by millions of Americans every month. So why do we keep hearing that Social Security is in trouble? From its inception, Social Security helped establish the very idea of widespread retirement in the U.S. and allowed Americans to enjoy their golden years without fear of slipping into poverty. What are people saying now about the state of Social Security?
It's funny when we talk about Social Security, depending on who you listen to, it's either going out of business tomorrow or it's going to be here forever. I'm more of an in-between kind of person. Now, some of the numbers say 2034, it's going to go bankrupt or whatever. That's all for worry's sake. Congress is never going to let that go down. I mean, no one will vote for a congressman again if they let Social Security go away. So there's always going to be a stopgap kind of measure. My opinion is to make Social Security more of a means-based system. Now, what does that mean? Well, that's mean to anybody who has money. It says if you already have money, you're not going to get any Social Security or you get a reduced amount. To me, I don't think that's fair. Many of us, or most of us watching this video, have put money into that system 30 or 40 years, and now you're telling me I can't get any of that money back? It's not going to make people happy. But in order for it to survive, they're going to have to do something. Well, number one, Congress needs to stop reaching into the Social Security Trust Fund and using it for things other than Social Security. And some people watching may not like this, but anyone who's never put money into the Social Security Administration or they're not a U.S. citizen does not deserve a penny of the Social Security I put aside.
I know that these changes can be scary to talk about, but let's get it out of the way. What are some measures you can take to prepare if Social Security went away or was minimized?
The average person thinks that we can control the safety and security and longevity of the Social Security system. To be truthful, we have no control over that. It's up to Congress to do what they're supposed to do and not minimize our benefit that we were depending on. A lot of people are depending on that for a majority of their core account in retirement. The core is the money that can't go away. It's always there producing income. Another part of the core is we use lifetime income annuities for that too, to give that certainty, knowing that you're going to have that peace of mind, you're going to have the check every single month for the rest of your life in retirement. I think there's plenty of places that our government blows money on, billions of dollars a year, that could cancel and put that money into Social Security. So Social Security is never, in my opinion, never going away. But don't depend on it for all your retirement income.
And now we are entering our Social Security viability lightning round. I'll give Coach some potential solutions for Social Security viability, and he'll shoot back with his thoughts. First up, raising the retirement age.
65 is what we always heard. Now it's 67 for a lot of people, 68, 69. And so that way that reduces the amount of burden on the Social Security Administration to pay because you can't get it until a certain age. Now, you can still get it now at 62, and that's still available. So maybe they'll take that away. I don't think they should, but they're floating every single idea out there. Raising the retirement age, that's what it would mean. Maybe instead of 62 to 70, it'll go 65 to 73, that kind of thing. So we're going to see some changes, which I'm in favor of as long as they can guarantee that they're not going to tamper with anyone's Social Security income in the future.
Next, what if we raised the payroll tax?
This doesn't make anyone happy. Raising the payroll tax, they do that every single year, it seems like. There used to be one number coming out for Social Security and Medicare. Then they separated it, and you see the Medicare number keeps growing, their tax price. They're going to keep increasing that, and they probably will. They'll increase your payroll tax. You're going to pay a lot more money to get a whole lot less benefit.
All right, now break down means testing.
Means testing is just a way for them to reduce or eliminate payment to people that they claim can afford retirement without the Social Security. Is it fair? Heck no, it's not fair. You put that money away, you deserve it back.
What if Social Security were put into higher yielding assets?
This has been floated for years. The problem is the quote-unquote higher yielding assets. To get a better return, what do you usually have to do? You usually have to sacrifice safety. So if you have promised or they're trying to get a higher rate of return, they could end up with a lower or a negative rate of return on that. So conservative money management for your Social Security Trust Fund account, again, that's part of your core money in retirement. They shouldn't tamper with it. They should not take more risk. I've heard other rumors where they wanted you to give you the ability to invest your own money on yourself. They'll never do that because government likes to control that money too much.
And what if we had some sort of universal basic income?
This one basically is communism. It's basically saying everyone's going to make the same amount of money and you can't get more than that. I don't agree with that one at all.
We've talked about a lot of what-if scenarios, and it can be nerve-wracking. What can someone do today to secure their retirement?
The most important thing, Congress is going to be battling every single day of our lives, back and forth, blaming each other. The money world's going to go up, down, all around every day. The market will be up, the market will be down. Kramer will be going wild on TV. The secret to you is don't live outside your means. Know what your spending is going to be needed, what kind of money you're going to need in retirement. Make sure you have enough money put aside in your core account that's going to give you a lifetime income. Most people I talk to don't have any idea about what an income plan is and how it can give them lifetime confidence, because you get lifetime income. So all the things together, I don't agree with trying to minimize your expenses. I'd rather have you try to make more money or have a better stream of income so you can do all the things you want to do in retirement. We work 30 or 40 years. We put aside money 30 or 40 years for a vacation, a lifetime vacation called retirement. It's also 20, 30, even 40 years of unemployment, otherwise known as retirement. So we need to have our own unemployment insurance, which is a true retirement income plan. We cover that in our 22-step total retirement plan.
That's right, folks. You need a retirement plan that can stay afloat no matter what happens in the economy, in politics, or anything else. We want to help you put together a plan. Coach Pete and the team at Capital Financial can help you navigate the financial world to get you where you want to be in retirement. Take advantage of the no-cost, no-obligation financial review to understand the ins and outs of your retirement plan. A customized plan based on your wants and needs. Contact us today. Also, be sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more retirement help.
Here we are, the big book on retirement, chapter 1. It's all about picking the right coach. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the coach, Coach Pete D'Arruda, the author of this great book that hopefully you're getting into. I did want to bring this up too, since we're at the beginning of this walkthrough. Maybe you're having a hard time getting through the book. You don't have enough time to sit down and read.
It's a big book, so it might be intimidating, but we did make the print pretty big, so people like me who usually need reading glasses don't even need reading glasses.
There you go. And for people like me who drive a little bit, the audio book is available. So if you want to head over to CoachPete.com, grab that audio book. It's another great way to listen through the content. But let's talk about picking the right coach. This is chapter 1, so a little bit important, I would imagine.
Well, you know, you watch some sports on TV every now and then. You hear about these teams, and sometimes the teams aren't that good, so they get rid of the coach.
Yeah.
And they hire a new coach, and the same players start playing a lot better.
Interesting how that works.
So having a good coach in the financial world can put you in control of your retirement. That's what we're talking about. So if you're not really sure if you're on the right track, or your current advisor isn't giving you what you think the attention you deserve, or putting you in the place you deserve to be in, then get a second opinion. Maybe get a new coach, but have a review. Have your current plan put against what's currently out there and see if it matches up.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do a lot of. We do game planning. We say, well, here's where you are right now, but if you change one or two things, you could be way up here without it costing you any money, just by moving things in the right places. So again, it's about having, we've all put those puzzles together before where you dump them out thousands of pieces, but some people can put them together really good and other people can't. I had a dream where I actually did the Rubik's Cube.
Oh, nice.
I did. I dreamed last night. It's just coming to me now. You remember your dreams?
Yeah, sure.
No idea what that means. If you're a dream analyst, maybe you can tell me what it meant when I actually solved the Rubik's Cube. And I had the little pattern in my head and all that.
Yeah.
And I woke up and, I'll never be able to do it. But both my brothers could do the Rubik's Cube. I could never do it. But retirement doesn't have to be a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, but if you get someone who understands it, they can align it just right for you. So it's about making sure that your goals and aspirations and ambitions match up to what your plan is going to do for you in the future.
There you go. Important points to be looking at, and I think this is why we like to start off that review process with a second opinion. Yeah. This is an important time in people's lives. It is similar to I think a doctor's visit where you find out something big, a pregnancy or something. So you may want a second opinion if there's a disease in play, just to make sure, am I following the right procedure and protocol?
Let's say you don't feel that good. You go to your doctor, he says everything's fine. Maybe you want to go see another doctor and make sure everything really is fine.
Exactly.
Same thing in the financial world. And it shouldn't be confrontational. It should just be putting you in the right place and doing the right thing for you. Maybe the current advisor is not specializing in taking you all the way through retirement. Maybe they did a good job of building your accounts, but now we need to preserve
free income for the rest of my life. And that's what I encourage people to do, because we're approaching 40 trillion in debt. I mean, our interest on our debt is more than the defense budget for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force. It's unbelievable. And so I think getting yourself in a position to get as much tax-free income is important, and the multiple streams is very important.
We call that a laddering strategy, and anyone who's watching can get one. Like, if you don't have a laddering strategy, if you don't have income, you really need it. Get an analysis, get a free review, get an x-ray of your portfolio. CoachPete.com is people go there, CoachPete.com. You can find out a lot of education on your own, and then if you're interested in finding out more advanced planning, let us know.
Yeah, and it's free.
This big game Every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
All right, I'm not sure what kind of strategy this is, but I just saw this and I have to ask you about it. What does cash dragging into mutual funds mean?
Welcome back in. We've got a series going called Women and Money.
I know we read these articles and they say, "Dylan, just start to have $50 a month." Well, you're not even thinking about that back then.
No, because that's nails, you know.
I actually bought, I saw in the USA Today newspaper back in the, remember the newspapers?
Sure.
Back in the day, they had the, I always looked at the want ad stuff, and back there, or the classified ads they called them. There was an ad back there, and it was only ran one day, and I just happened to be traveling. You know, every time I traveled, I got a USA Today. That was the funnest thing to get when you're traveling, before the cell phones.
Yes.
So it's full color, all that. But a little ad, it said, invest in the IPO like the big guys, but right here. So if you could get 33 shares of Boston Beer Company for 10 cents a share, or $10 a share. So it's $330. I wrote a check. You could only get 33 shares, but that, you know, it's $10 a share. It ended up going to like $400 a share.
Oh, wow.
And it was paying all sorts of dividends and everything.
Nice.
So it turned out a good thing. So, and then I did some dividend reinvestment programs. So if you're just starting out and you're saying, Coach, I want to start saving somewhere. Well, number one, 401k at your work if you want. A lot of times they offer the Roth option. If you're young, do the Roth option. You don't get a tax write-off, but it builds tax-free forever.
You bet.
You come out so much further ahead if you have 20 years or longer to hold that money in a Roth than a regular one. Now, a lot of people like that immediate tax deduction, so they put money in the regular 401k. They get to write off a little bit of the money they put into the 401k. The problem is all that money is going to be taxable down the road, including the growth.
Yes.
So would you rather have growth with no tax or growth with tax? Of course.
Definitely no tax.
And so, but save somewhere. I did dividend reinvestment programs. I still do. There's a good mutual fund or ETF. Vanguard has VOO, which is the S&P 500. These are good places to start. And they can take a little money every month and dollar cost average in, and it's a good way to start. But I really think by the age of 40, you need to start thinking about saving some money. Because now you still have 25 years to 65.
How do you deal with people that are coming out with these massive amounts of student loan debt?
Yeah. Well, you got to treat it like another payment, like a mortgage payment. And so depending on what the interest rate is, now if you have a high interest rate, you want to pay that off quick. Because if you have a 10, 11, 12, 13% credit card or student loan interest rate, maybe credit cards up to 29%, every dollar you pay into that to pay it down, you basically make 29% because you're not having to pay it anymore. So if it's 29% interest and you're paying it down quick, you're making 29% by not having to pay that interest anymore. So you don't want to start saving until you get those big bills paid. But if you have a home loan, maybe it's 4%, 5% interest, just treat it as a mortgage. Like it's you don't need to pay it off. But save some money on your own. So pay your house off, maybe put a little extra towards principal. I don't know, a lot of people don't realize this, but if you have a 30-year mortgage and you decide to pay one extra mortgage payment a year,
You bet.
you can divide it by 12. You take your payment, divide it by 12, just give a little extra towards principal. You'll get a 30-year loan down to about 23 years.
That's
amazing.
nice.
It's great, isn't it?
Yep, it's absolutely
And so
amazing.
15-year down to about 12 if you pay a one extra payment a year. So that's easy to do.
Yeah.
And so that's, in a way, you're saving because if you get your house paid off quicker, now you'll have all that free money to start really accelerating your savings in the future, okay? But I think there's no substitute for the time value of money. The sooner you can get that money put away, the more it's going to grow, and then the more that interest in there is going to grow itself. So it's going to triple compound. And Albert Einstein called that one of the 8 wonders of the world.
Okay.
So again, don't worry if you haven't saved, but you may be doing a lot of things that are helping you and don't even realize it. If you're paying those bills off early, you're helping yourself.
That's interesting because I heard you and Amanda on her endorsement on the radio, and you were talking about, well, I've still got some furniture that that you bought on time, as my dad used to say.
Yep.
And you were asking him, what do I need to pay off first?
Yep, and it was 0%, but they can still get you in the fine print, which is one of the books that really helped me, that Coach Pete gave me, was like, hey, in the fine print fiasco. You can really, if you miss some of those details, oh, it's 60 months, oh, it's 0%, that can bite you. And coming from a family of parents who work check to check
Yes.
and not knowing about money and not, you see all those flashy things when you are in your 20s, when you are graduating, and you think, I want all this now. I want the fence and I want the furniture and I want the car.
Gratisfaction, I call it. You want it immediate.
You want it immediately. And it really does require discipline. And I just implore you to get coach in your circle and learn, like, hey, where could I be when I'm 60? Look long term. Stop looking so short term, and then you'll be where you need to be.
You know, the game and gimmicks, the same as cash. 60 months, same as cash. 5 years, same as cash. They try to get you to do that. And here's the two zingers in there. Number one, they require a minimum payment every month still.
Yep.
And if you miss one of those minimum payments, they'll go back and get you for all the interest that you haven't paid yet, plus all the interest you have in the future too. And if you get to the 60 months and you wait one extra day, so 60 months and 1 day, they're going to go back and hit you with all that interest plus interest on top of that interest. So and fees and all that. You got to be very careful on that. But it's a great deal if you pay it off like the rules say.
Right.
Because free money. All right, but again, the only reason they're doing that, they're not doing it because they're a charity. They're doing it because they hope you mess up.
Yeah.
Vegas doesn't stay open because they're a charity, do they? They come on in and win. No, they want you to come in and what? Mess up. And just like anything in life.
So how much money should someone have in their emergency fund if they're coming out of college and they're in their 20s?
Yeah, all right, it depends. And well, I hate that kind of answer, it depends. But it depends on what you're spending in a month.
Okay.
So if you can really figure out about what you spend in a month for all your bills in your fund, you need about 6 times that in an emergency fund.
That's a lot.
Okay, and a lot of people say 2 years because what if you lost your job? And then so then the 2 years worth of fund would help, right? Because now you don't have a job and you're looking for a job. So and we see a lot of people like that these days with AI taking a lot of jobs away.
Oh, it's
right. But a lot of people blame it on AI, but they just weren't doing a good job to begin with. If you're doing a great job, no one's going to replace you. Put it that way.
One of the things that always stands out to me when we talk, specifically when we talk a lot, you always go straight to retirement, and a lot of people go straight to retirement. But I'm a live in the now person.
Yep.
And so for me, I've come out of college, even now where I am in life, I want to take vacations.
Yep.
Yes.
I see this.
I want to do stuff like that, and I do appreciate
Facebook.
I take a lot of vacations.
You were riding a camel this past summer.
I was.
That's pretty impressive.
Travel is so important to me, so I would prioritize living my life now while I'm healthy and able.
Exactly.
Versus just getting to retirement, and I think that's one of the things that people don't realize that you help with too.
You can do both. Okay, you can live in the now and you can also save at the same time. And I like to put plans together like that too. They give you the fun now and the fun later, but never in a place where you're not going to have any money left over. So you always got to manage it the right way. But there's ways to do exactly what you're doing. You're doing it.
I'm doing it,
and you're doing a good job.
But it took many years to get here because I didn't want to. Like you said, live and check. I don't want to do that.
I'm afraid to spend this because I might not have enough. Well, what if we put plans together where you knew you had enough and you knew next year you're going to have even more money to do it? So that's what we do. Replenishing income. And emergency accounts.
Sure.
No, and I'm telling you something I've been working on a lot is just stripping it down where I'm not buying too much. I am buying too much. Amazon, too much shopping, trying to rewear these clothes. Like people aren't going to see me again. So the saving tips that Coach has instilled have been great.
It makes it easy to spend money these days. Like McDonald's takes credit cards. I remember when they didn't take credit cards, it was really, really cheap to eat there. We used to go in with for Christmas, we'd get a $5 book of gift certificates back in the day, $1 at a time. And Mom would say, well, tear one away. So me and my brothers would all tear one out, $1, and we all hop in the car. We were all proud to pay for our own meal. We went up there and we get a hamburger, fries, a drink, and a cherry or apple pie. Remember the hot ones they used to have, the deep fried ones? And a drink. For under, and milkshake a lot of times, for under $1. Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Nowadays, you couldn't even get a burger for under $1.
And now Amazon's letting you stretch your payments out
Isn't that nice
on your
of them?
purchase, and they're doing it on everything. So it's really just everywhere. So
It's all about trying to trap you behind that dead 8 ball. You don't need to be trapped behind there. And there are ways where you don't have to be. So let's get together. We'll put a plan together that makes sense for you. A common sense plan that encompasses fun, like Jen wants to do.
Live
but
my life.
fun now and fun later. We can do it all together.
Finish first with this guy.
Consumer advocate Thomas Lipscomb here in studio with best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda. Coach, how are you doing?
Great, Thomas. How are you?
I am doing very well. Excited to get into the topic. Now listen to this. Something that is going to throw us back to 1981. You probably know what it is.
Back to the future.
Stocks, bonds, inflation-protected bonds, industrial metals all slumping at the same time. Not a pretty reminder, is it?
No, and we're almost there now, Thomas. I mean, when you look at it, the problem these days is how strong is the American dollar? And not what an exchange rate is, but are we still using the American dollar to trade oil? And there have been rumors that that's going away. And if that goes away, we won't be able to print unlimited dollars anymore. We've been able to hide a lot of the dollars we print because we are the international exchange currency.
There you go.
If that goes away, we turn into Venezuela overnight.
Well, let me ask you this. You're talking about printing more dollars. Obviously, that means inflation.
Yeah.
And I have a note here that says just a 3% rate of inflation would cut your spending power in half over the course of 24 years.
Well, let's look at it. People hear inflation. A lot of people don't realize what that means.
Yeah.
That means there's way too many dollars out there for way too many things to buy. And so here's why it happened. The government gave away trillions of dollars, and a lot of the giveaways were to tell people not to work. So you're paying people not to work, and they're usually the people who are making the products that people are buying. So if you're not working to make the products, but they're giving you money to go buy products, there aren't products out there. So then the few products that are out there, the people who are selling them can charge what they want. We're seeing that with oil, obviously. We're seeing that with food. We're seeing that with almost everything we buy, even used cars. There are less few cars out there. There's a lot more dollars chasing the used cars around. And I've dumped a used car in the market than myself. I made a lot more money on a Honda Civic that I bought my daughter 2 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
I gave her a Jeep instead, and I made money.
I love it. I love it. I will be there soon enough. I will be there soon enough.
So this is not good, though. This is not good in the long run at all for anyone. You know, a lot of people like me just brag that I made more money selling a used car. So what? I'm getting punished all over the place. When I go to the food store, when I go to the appliance store, when I go any store, I'm paying a lot more than I should.
Okay, well, tell us, how can we develop that inflation shield then?
Yeah, well, we used to call it an inflation protected plan. It still is, but we need to make sure that our money is at least earning up to what inflation is. Or trying to earn. If you have money buried under a pillow, you're earning zero. And if inflation is admittedly 8%, I think it's higher than that, you are losing 8% a year in buying power.
Wow.
And then if you have money in a CD at a bank, maybe you're getting 1%. And again, inflation 8%, you're losing 7% per year out of your buying power. So your dollar is shrinking right in front of you, Thomas. We need to have a plan put together that at least helps us keep up with that inflationary aspect we have these days.
And this is something that you and the team specialize in. So folks, contact Coach Pete and the team here at Capital Financial. They keep a limited number of vacancies on their calendar just for viewers like you. So call on in, reserve that spot. We offer virtual consultations as well as in-office consultations. So get yours today.
In 2024, an EBRI study said only 1 out of 4 Americans felt confident they'd never run out of money. So how can you help people build certainty into their plan?
There's a lot of great financial plans out there, but you don't have a retirement plan unless you have streams of lifetime income that's guaranteed. I like more than one stream. And of course, Social Security, that's a stream of income. It's an annuity offered by the government. Everyone gets Social Security. But we need our own personal annuities. We need to ensure our retirement. And it's great to look at these gigantic $1 million balances in the stock market. They're fun. It is fun to grow your money, and we want the market to grow. But we also want to preserve the money we've already taken all those years where we didn't do stuff to save. What good is it to save money to watch it disappear before you can spend it? So let's put some of the money in a place we can outlive and put those in streams of income account.
With Bitcoin, though, every time you do a transaction, it goes all the way to the beginning, follows the chain all the way up, and puts your transaction way over here.
Wow.
On Ethereum, it goes back to the last time on the node, and it adds it right there going forward. So it's a lot faster on Ethereum. Now, both Ethereum and Bitcoin have pretty good transactional fees. Bitcoin calls it a transaction fee, and Ethereum calls it a gas fee.
Gas fee, yeah.
And that goes up and down depending on the surge, how many people are using it at the same time.
Yeah.
So there are some ones that don't charge a fee or minimal fees, but then you have to build trust with them. The only one I really trust that doesn't charge a fee is one called Nano, N-A-N-O. They're a non-profit crypto, sort of like Red Hat was back in the day for technology.
Right.
And they don't charge a transaction fee because there's nobody there to feed. It's a self-running program, but its main purpose is from peer-to-peer buying and selling.
Welcome back into our series on tax-savvy retirement, a book by best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda. I can't call it the latest because I just don't believe it will be here in the short future.
We're working on another one called Through the Years, by the way.
Yes, we are, which is very fun.
From 1909 all the way to 2025, telling you every single year the inflation, the how much cost of a loaf of bread, gas, these kind of great things, and then some of the famous songs back then, and just things you're going to bring back some good memories.
Oh, and it's so fun when you read through the book, guys. When you get your copy, it starts off in 1909. 1909, 1910, and we've put the style in the style of that era. So then as you progress to the 20s and the 30s,
the roaring 20s, right?
You get to the 40s, 50s, it feels like the Jetsons. You get to it's really fun. It's a fun book. I look forward to it. But let's focus on this one right now.
It's a good book right here, too.
Chapter 2, tax diversification and income bucket. So bucketing strategy. I'm sure many of you watching know that Coach Pete is and has been on television and radio for a very, very, very long time.
Over 20 years.
And we talk bucketing strategy a lot, but here you're talking about it in terms of taxation.
It's so much easier to understand your money when you can break it down into piles or buckets.
Yeah.
All right, so there's 3 main buckets when we're talking about taxation. We've got the taxable bucket. That's money that, like when you get a paycheck, it's taxable.
Sure,
taxable money.
Yeah.
If you have a CD at the bank, it's usually taxable, so that's taxable. We have the tax deferred bucket. That's where you earn interest, but you don't pay the taxes until you take the money out down the road. So like your IRAs are tax deferred.
Okay,
you got to put money in, you got to reduce your taxable income when you put the money in, but when you take the money out, you have to increase your taxable income because you have to pay tax on it. Then the most important bucket, the most overlooked bucket, the bucket that is usually not filled up, is the tax-free bucket. That means when you take the money out, it comes out tax-free. When you pass away, it goes tax-free to your next of kin. This is the Roth IRA that you hear about. This is life insurance. If designed the right way, you can get a tax-free income from your life insurance policy through your life, and then when you pass away, a tax-free death benefit will go to your beneficiaries, your family. Very, very important. Or your churches or charity.
That's powerful.
We had somebody, he instead of giving to the church every week, he told the pastor he was going to use that money and buy a life insurance policy with it. So that when he passed away, he left $1 million to the church tax-free.
I bet they were happy about that.
See, I mean, that's a creative way right there. It made a lot of sense.
It is.
So if you turn the tax law upside down, it can be your best friend. If you have it as it is now and don't really pay attention to it, it's going to be your worst enemy.
That's good.
So we have something we call tax planning, looking ahead to protect your behind from the tax man. So let's get a tax plan put together along with your retirement plan and your income plan, and now you'll be in control of retirement and not worry anymore.
Yes.
Because the worst thing you could do is stay up late at night wondering where you're going to get the money to pay the taxes on retirement. We can help you with all that, folks. And because you're watching this, you qualify for no-cost consultation with a team who specializes in everything we talk about here in the book. So let's get a plan put together at no cost or obligation for you and your family. Go to CoachPete.com or call the number you see on the screen. You can be getting started as soon as next week, getting in control of your money instead of your money controlling you.
Very good. The time to act is now, folks. Call that number you see on your screen. This is all a part of Coach Pete's 22-step planning process. Tax is obviously a very big part of that. Maximize your own income, minimize those taxes, and we will see you for Chapter 3 of Tax Savvy Retirement.
All right, red money, yellow money, green money in retirement. What is all this, and what does it mean to diversify between the three?
Red, green, yellow. Sounds like a song, doesn't it? But again, we don't want to take too much risk when we're getting into that financial red zone. And that's about age 50 or 5 years outside of retirement or any time in retirement, you are in the financial red zone. So what that means, Amanda, is when we're young, we can take a lot of risk with our money because, in theory, if we lose it, we have time to gain it back. But if you ask me, I don't like losing money at any time. I don't know about you. So we can make sure to minimize risk, but also maximize return. But the most important part of anything, Amanda, is making sure you have a lifetime of income that when you approach retirement, you can never outlive that.
So if someone already has a retirement plan in place and they haven't revisited it in a long time, it's time to sit down with you, right, and say, hey, what are my goals? Where am I headed? Maybe they don't trust the financial person that they're with now.
You ever drive down the road, Amanda, and you go through that pothole, and you do it every day for the longest time, and so you know how to avoid it, but then you look in your rearview mirror and see other people hitting it? Well, a retirement plan can't be like that. It can't be like the road service that never fixes a pothole. A good retirement plan is reviewed every year so that we can fill the potholes and, more importantly, get you on a different road to begin with. If you have potholes in your retirement, you're in the wrong road to begin with. So let's get that smooth glide path into retirement, get that true lifetime income plan. I've been doing this over 33 years now, so I know what I'm doing as far as structuring retirement income you can't outlive. If you want to get a real plan together, folks, that doesn't have potholes in it, call right now.
I'm excited about our next guest. I've known the next guest for many years. He's a personal friend of mine. Coach Pete D'Arruda, CoachPete.com, America's Wealth Coach. Welcome, Coach Pete.
Great to see you, Tommy.
So, Pete, I know a little bit about your background. The audience doesn't, so fill us in on how you got to where you are.
We have 33 years in the financial arena now. Gosh, time flies, doesn't it? It seems like just yesterday. I started working with teachers in the 90s, showing them how to save money, tax deductible, or put it away before taxes come out in the 403B, federal 403B program, helping them save for retirement. Tom, then they started to retire. And I said, gosh, I need to know how to help them the rest of the way. So I got my Retirement Income Certified Professional designation from the American College, which teaches me and taught me how to make sure that people never run out of money in retirement.
Here we are, the big book on retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here with Coach Pete D'Arruda, going chapter by chapter through the book, getting some behind the scenes knowledge and wisdom. And you're here for chapter 2, so let's dive right in. The chapter is called Learn the Rules. And you got a quote here at the top I like. It's from Albert Einstein. He says, you got to learn the rules of the game. Then you have to play better than anyone else. But learning the rules is huge, and I think I can pick on myself a little bit here, Coach. You know, I'm not a huge sports fan. I'm more into the music and the nerdy stuff. But I know my rules when it comes to hockey, and I can enjoy the game because of that, or soccer or whatever. But then there are games out there that I simply just don't know the rules for.
Well, look at driving. You have to know the rules there. So it doesn't have to be just a game. It could be anything in life. There's rules. That's true. Anything you do have rules. You go to the bathroom, public restroom, there's rules. You don't walk up right behind people when they're, when you're waiting. That kind of. There's different things you have to do.
That's good, yeah.
And so knowing the rules will put you in charge. If you know the rules, you can build a plan around the rules.
Yes.
If you don't know the rules, you could do things that aren't right. And so the rules are not telling you what's. You're not going to go to jail if you don't follow the rules, but you could be in a lot worse situation if you don't follow the money rules.
Yeah, it's true. We've talked about people who have had excessive penalties more than they needed to, or maybe just not optimizing things properly, just because they didn't understand the rules. I do, because the tax. How big are these books with the rules in them? It's a lot in there.
I had a conversation with my daughter the other day because Daddy pays for her credit card each month. She's at college right now, and I noticed she was doing a lot of these food deliveries. And Daddy had a conversation with her about how when Daddy was in school, he bought one loaf of bread and peanut butter and jelly and basically lived off that. He didn't pay delivery fees. So I said, you're a young girl. There's a snack bar right in the first floor of her dorm.
Oh, okay.
I said, walk down there and buy the snacks. Don't have someone bring it to your door because then you have to pay delivery fee and you got to tip people. So, when you're paying everybody else money, it's hard to build money. And, the people that understand money and have a lot of money are the ones that did smart money decisions going forward.
It's true.
Because anytime money goes out, you have to work extra hard just to bring it back in. She doesn't because it's Daddy's money. Daddy doesn't like his money going out there. I have a limit now. It's a pretty good limit, though, but each month for her. But and I'm not being a mean dad. I'm just saying it's okay to eat that way every now and then, but don't do it all the time because that's a money evil. They're trying to steal money from you, and they are.
That's good.
Paying tips and delivery fees.
I think, my grandma certainly didn't make up the saying, but she used to say a penny saved is a penny earned.
Absolutely.
And I think the word ownership has a lot to do with this conversation as well. Just owning your retirement, making the most of it. Nobody else is going to do it for you at the end of the day.
I used to pick pennies up all the time back in the day. And you could get a piece of candy for 1 penny back in the day. That was pretty cool. So there was no tax on it. You'd go in and get a penny, you go get a piece of candy.
I love it.
So, but there was a study we did back in the day, and it said if you have a penny and you double it every day for 1 month, 30 days, you'd have over $1 million. If you doubled it. So the next day would be 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, etc. You're up to millions of dollars. I think it was like 10 million by the time 30 days
That's
came.
incredible. That's incredible. I remember seeing
penny
that
saved
chart.
is a lot of pennies earned.
A lot of pennies earned. I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to allude to compound interest there, which is later on in this here book. But until then, you like that? Until then, though, let's wrap up chapter 2, and folks, get ready for chapter 3. If anything that you've read in here or heard in here has drawn out some questions, and you want to talk to one of Coach Pete's fiduciary planners, just give us a call, text us, communicate with us. We'd be happy to sit down with you and walk you through the goal line.
Yeah.
See you next time.
It's Women and Money, and we luckily have some gals here. I've got Miss Jana, I've got Miss Amanda, I'm Jackie, and we have Coach Pete to keep us on the plan to make sure that we have enough money going through our stages of life. Because you're right, it's not just about, is it? It's not just about retirement.
No, it's about living your life today and
Yes,
doing
yes.
things you want to do to enjoy your life.
Living your life today without punishing yourself tomorrow. And that's
Yeah.
what we do. We can do a plan like that. So you don't have to punish yourself ever. And so there are a lot of people that say, gosh, I can't have any fun because I need to save this money for retirement. Then you get to retirement, you can't do anything anyway.
Because you don't feel good.
Yeah, you know, here's a fact of life.
Yeah.
We get slower as we get older, don't we?
Oh, don't remind me. But through all the ages and stages, I think the important thing is, like, for instance, I'm getting married.
Great. Let's do it.
Next year, but it's been a really big topic in our house because I want to buy, certain things for the wedding. Ryan wants to buy certain things for the wedding. His big things are food and entertainment. And my big things are the dress and maybe the honeymoon and maybe, so we had to really look at like, okay, do we really need flowers? And the answer is no, the venue's pretty enough. That was one of the main things.
Oh, I love it.
So I'm trying to
You're paying a lot of money for the venue.
Yeah.
Well, usually flowers are to cover up a bad venue. So if
There
you already
you
have a
go.
good venue, what do you need
It's
flowers?
a good venue.
brilliant.
It's beautiful. It's lush. I'm like, why do we need all these flowers? I'll carry something down.
Save a lot of money that way.
bet.
I'm proud of you. You really put on your big girl panties with those decisions.
It was hard.
Because you want, in your heart, you want it all. You want
was
the
hard.
dream
Well, sure.
storybook.
You want the princess wedding.
Yeah, you
And
do.
Coach has got me thinking about getting a used dress. Like, I'm seriously, like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a
brainwashed
dress.
you, girl.
I'm not.
There's
I'm
no
not
need.
doing it.
There is no need. I wore a very
I said something
inexpensive
about a
gown
used
as
dress?
well.
Yeah, well, we talked about it in one of our last
I might have just said I
girls'
liked what
spots.
you were talking about, but I mean, no, you don't need a huge dress. You need whatever you want. That's what you
Yeah,
want.
and I guess my
That's
answer,
diplomatic.
yeah, my question is for all of this and for those that are going through this and merging money and still keeping their independence is how do you, for lack of better words, compromise in this type of situation? Because obviously you're getting married and these are bumpy roads going into the wedding, surviving all of that with families and costs and expense. But how do you reel it in?
Many times, a wedding is the first time a girl turning into a woman has ever had to worry about a budget.
Okay.
Because a lot of, like the rule is that the parents of the daughter always pay for the wedding. That's what they always say, right? So I'm a parent of two daughters, so I'm careful. But see, what Alan has done, my friend whose daughter's getting married, is he put together a absolute budget, like amount.
Okay.
We're not going over 40,000. He said,
Oh,
which is a pretty big
Great.
budget
That's
if you
pretty
ask
good.
me.
Yes.
So,
That's big. That's generous.
but
You
you
don't
have to. So even with a $40,000 budget, though, his daughter is starting to complain because she says, "I don't have enough for this. I want a live band. I want a cello. I want." But you have to make sacrifices somewhere, and that's what our Congress doesn't know how to do that because all they do is print more money. But we can't manage our personal debts or financial situations like Congress because we don't have some people may have a printing press.
Yeah.
That's illegal though. But no, it's just you make that. You've done it too. You're already doing it. Mentally, you're making a priority list. What's most important? What are the 5 most important things in this wedding for me?
yes.
Right? You probably thought about that.
I'm getting married later in life too.
Yeah.
And so I'm not but to my advice to the people that are in their 20s or early 30s that are doing it, I'm 40 now, is just really look at long term, like what else could I spend this money on? And for me, it's Jackson's school, and we need to extend the fence in the backyard, and I want to do this to the house.
You can always find a need somewhere to spend money.
As
Can't you?
opposed to a
That's not enough
1-day,
money.
4-hour party.
Yeah. And I want to invest, and I don't want to be stranded in retirement where I'm like, why didn't I do this?
Well, I've seen some people, they say, well, we want to do a good honeymoon too, but we only have a certain amount of money for the whole wedding. So let's take a little bit away from the wedding and have a really nice honeymoon. Because the honeymoon's more important than anything. The people coming to the wedding are just coming to eat free and drink free on.
Amen.
You know that. That's the only reason I go to weddings.
So once you're actually married,
I'll remember that.
Little personal dig here, but once you're married, are you going to blend your accounts, or are you
this is
keeping your
good.
own bank accounts?
So this is a loaded question because he technically has all of his stuff in Texas and I have all of my stuff in North Carolina. So it's not something we've figured out yet. And so we'll have to get with Coach and talk about the benefits, the pros and the cons.
You know, the first thing you need is a trust.
Okay.
Because you're a blended family with a child. The trust is the most important thing. Not a will, but a trust. Because you don't want to end up like Cinderella. You don't want Jackson turning, like if you pass away and all of a sudden he remarries and all of a sudden Jackson's treated like Cinderella. So you establish a trust.
Amanda's getting a trust today.
I'm getting a trust
is
right
very
now.
important. We do those trusts, and we have an attorney organization that we utilize to do the trust.
Okay.
But they are a lot more affordable if you do it through us than if you go see an attorney.
Truly.
Interesting.
So
That's such a
lot
good
more.
one.
We're talking about 60% less.
And there's tax advantages to
There's
having the trust, right?
Well, sometimes there's tax advantages. It's more of a peace of mind.
Okay.
A trust speaks for you even if you're not here anymore. That's what a trust does. A trust is a way to bypass probate. A will is an invitation to probate. Guess how much probate costs? Between 3 and 7% of whatever you have in your estate is lost in probate, plus probate is not private. Trusts are totally private. So that's why trust makes so much more sense. And so, but especially if you have a blended family, especially if you're getting married, everybody really needs some kind of trust or will, but everybody needs that little green book of life. So you can come in and if you come in to see me, I'll give you a copy, but you can buy it on Amazon as well.
The more you know with Coach Pete, you got to have that trust.
Really is. Trust is important in life in more ways than one.
So I'm going to put you down on this one too. Do you recommend, we have a newlywed coming in, we won't use each other, but do you want her to keep her own separate finances, or do you recommend a blended household?
All right, here's something that causes a lot of divorces. Joint checking accounts. Joint checking accounts cause more divorces than anything.
Really?
They do.
Joint checking accounts. So I like a joint account to pay the bills, like the mortgage and the utilities, and you both put a little money in there. You establish what you're putting in there. Yeah, you both contribute. But then you both should have your own separate checking accounts. It's no fun to get a gift from a joint checking account for a birthday. Oh, happy birthday, honey. Well, good. Look what I paid for. You know,
I'm not a fan of the joint, so I feel like for that reason and other stuff, but my independence.
Joint accounts for your bills that you need, the community property, cars, insurance, all the kind of stuff you want to pay for together. But if you like a nicer car, you have your own account.
Nice.
It sounds fair to me. I still need my independence.
A lot less fighting if you have blended. It's a blended family kind of thing, because now you're with your husband, so blend the accounts. Have a joint, and then you both have your own individual.
And if you really have a good man, which you know you will, when you say, honey, can you please buy me this? Then that's fine.
Yeah, but you don't want to buy it with a joint money, right?
No.
So what fun is it to get flowers from the money you just paid?
Jackie's like, absolutely no.
No, it makes sense. But again, you have to figure out, and these conversations, unfortunately, are had after the wedding, not before.
It's true. Because people don't like to talk about money, especially women.
Yeah.
It's an awkward, a taboo subject.
But you guys are making 47% of the money worldwide now. So it's time for you guys to be a member of the conversation.
Yeah, and it's not being confrontational. It's just having the gumption to say,
get it down,
hey,
because if you get it down now and no confusion and you understand it completely, then there'll be no. Well, there could be some confrontation in the future, but it won't be because of that money, right? It won't be because of that.
Maybe it should include the wedding plans, a consultation with a financial planner.
Should, like
let's get this thing.
Here we go.
If he can counsel us, right? You go to talk to your clergyman when you're talking about, right?
One course away from being a psychologist, by the way. I had 5 psychology classes too, so it's a lot of psychology.
Psychology of money.
Yeah, there's a big correlation between money and psychology.
Sure, yeah.
Coach, he's the man.
Get in to see Coach Pete.
So that's segment 3. When we come back, we've got 2 more segments here to talk about, episode segment, whatever we want to talk about, but we're going to get into even more detail when we come back. Hey, I'm Coach Pete DeRuda, president of Capital Financial. Folks, the financial world is very, very confusing. That's why we put together a series of educational videos called webinars. You can see them at any time by signing up at CoachPete.com. We'll see you there.
So let's talk crypto. I know it's not in our script, but what are your thoughts around crypto?
Well, they show it on CNBC now on the ticker down there. It always has the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. So it's here. And you have companies that are putting it in their balance sheet. They're investing in it. Even countries are using it for their national security. They're building their national treasure up with Bitcoin. So I was always a skeptical guy. I still am. I'm a Generation X guy, so I'm skeptical. But I've got 4 Bitcoin myself. Not a lot, but my average cost is a lot higher than what we're talking about here. But it's a lot lower than what my average cost is a lot lower than what it is now. I never thought we'd see over 100,000.
Yeah. So I was the biggest Bitcoin non-believer there was. I mean, it's the greater fool theory. You got to find somebody dumber than you to pay more than what. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then I watched, I might have been Michael Saylor on CNBC.
Saylor's really good.
Lay out a believable case to a total non-believer like me that Bitcoin could hit $1 million someday. And he said, all we're recommending is that our clients put 1% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, because if it goes to 0, that won't hurt you. Yeah. If it goes to $1 million, you're going to be happy you did it. Well, that resonated with me. And so I put 1% of my portfolio back when Bitcoin was 2,000 a Bitcoin.
Oh, there you go.
And that is now worth well over 7 figures.
Good for you, Tommy.
You know, and so I just took 1%, and so that was just a little risk with a major. I've never had anything go up as much as that has gone up.
Just make sure you have it in a good place and someone can't come and steal it from you. Yeah. That's the only thing to hear about this.
So I know that.
And welcome into the next episode of Tax Savvy Retirement, the series. I'm Thomas Lipscomb here alongside the author, Coach Pete D'Arruda. If you don't know who he is, turn on your radio, your TV, walk through the airport. He's all over the place, folks. But today, you're gracing me with your time here in the studio. I'm excited because this is a really awesome resource. I love what you've put into this book, Coach. And we're going to be talking withdrawal strategies specifically for tax optimization. And I just want to throw out a term here that I think a lot of our viewers are going to know. That's the 4% rule. You'll see this written about on CNBC or Fox Business, wherever you're looking. Could you kind of explain what that is and what your view on that is?
Yeah, it was put in by Wall Street a long time ago. It says as long as you only take 4% of your stock account out, you have about a 92% chance of not outliving your money.
Okay.
All right, 92% chance of being okay. You know what I don't like? You've got an 8% chance of being in trouble.
Yeah.
I don't design any plan unless it has a 100% chance of you not being in trouble.
That's good. Yeah.
So I've always held my nose when someone comes in and says, well, my broker says I'll be fine. I'll say, yeah, you got about a 92% chance of being fine. What if you're in that 8% where you don't? If you got on a plane and the pilot came on the loudspeaker and said, folks, we've got about a 92% chance of landing safely today, who do you think is going to be the first person off that plane?
I'll be right behind you. How about that?
Yeah, you'll be able to do it. But, all right, so, and then they've done some studies and they said, really, you can't call it the 4% rule because a lot of people have run out of money. When the market goes down, you're taking money out. It could be even worse than a 8% chance of not outliving your money. So then they revised it and they called it the 2.8% rule.
Is that what it was?
So if you got $1 million, you can take $28,000 out a year and you got a 92% chance.
Imagine working your whole life, saving up that $1 million nest egg.
Even 40, a 4% rule is only 40,000.
Yeah.
So the strategies we employ give you about 40 to 60% more with a 100% chance of not outliving your money.
I love it. That's so
lifetime income planning. So instead of getting 40,000, you get 60,000, and you got a 100% chance of never having a problem.
See, you take the worry out and you get more.
Taking the worry out of living in retirement.
That's a great.
One thing you don't want to be worried about in retirement is where the money's going to come from. You worked all your life to put this money away. Don't have someone take it away from you or outspend it. And so you can try to do it yourself, folks, but the do-it-yourselfer model never works. And a lot of times we're going to have the first 10 years or 20 years of retirement. That's when we're going to be in the go-go years still. Yes. We can go do all the fun things. So you don't want to say, well, I don't know if I can afford it or not. And don't take vacations until you're 80 or 90 because then you might not be able to do it anymore.
That's very good.
So our planning enables you to start right away. We encourage you every year to go take a vacation, spend that money, because if not, you're going to build a bunch of money up. You're going to leave your kids. And guess what? They're going to take vacations. You take your vacation. So we make you take vacations. That's the way my planner's mean. He makes me go on vacations. Yeah. But again, it's all about understanding the taxes in there and making sure you understand the withdrawal strategies. And we can put together a total income plan for you that has 100% certainty of never having problems. All you have to do is call the number you see on the screen. There's no cost or obligation for this. We offer it every single week on our radio show. You can get it now, and I really think it makes sense, especially after reading this book. You know that you need to be in control, and we can put you in control.
You absolutely can. Folks, call Coach Pete and his fiduciary team at Capital Financial today. I love it. You said the word twice there, Coach, understanding. Yeah. It's so key, folks. Gain that understanding in your retirement plan. It'll lead to confidence, security. Call now, and we will be back with you shortly for the next chapter, Chapter 4.
This big game, every move counts. Plan wisely to win the match. Sidestep the unexpected and charge towards your goal. Navigate through the challenges. Retirement is your end zone, and the touchdown is within reach. A successful retirement is your championship. Let Coach Pete design your customized income game plan today.
So how do you handle this wealth transfer?
Yeah, it's tough because that's where the fights start.
Yeah.
I mean, the most friendliest families ever aren't friendly anymore when mom or dad passes away, or when the second of the two passes away, especially. Do it ahead of time. Again, it comes back to the little green book of life. As the person, you can write in here who you want to get things, and then why, and then you also do a trust or will to back this up. I like trust better than will because a trust is pretty concrete, and a will is an invitation to probate, and a trust is a bypass probate. But this is what you do. You fill this out, then you bring this into an attorney, or go online and do your own trust. We've got a program that does it a lot cheaper than attorneys do, and then they have attorneys behind the scenes. But this little green book of life is step one. Put your desires down and make sure people don't fight, because we don't have pyramids anymore, Tom. They don't bury you with all your goods.
Welcome back into the next episode of Tax Savvy Retirement. I'm Thomas Lipscomb alongside best-selling author Coach Pete D'Arruda. We are covering Chapter 4 today. It is Tax Bracket Management Strategies. This sounds interesting to me. One thing I do know is there are tax brackets, and you don't necessarily want to creep too far into those. Is it hard to do, though, in retirement because you've got RMDs and all these different things that are,
One of the things that people get worried about is they say, gosh, I don't want to be in a higher tax bracket in retirement.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That means you're making a lot of money.
Okay.
And so here's what you shouldn't worry about. Now, we have these tax brackets. You make a certain amount of money, you pay 15% tax. We'll say you make a little more, you pay 22%. You make even more, 28%. But it's only on the excess. Yeah. So let's say, Coach, I can't make over $50,000 because I don't want to go into this 22% tax bracket. So, well, if you make $51,000, only $1,000 of that, only $1,000 of the $51,000 is going to be in the higher tax bracket.
There you go.
Because you pay the lower tax until you get to the higher level. So a lot of people think that once you reach a higher bracket, it retroactively goes back and taxes you the big amount from $1.
Right.
That's false. And so the first thing I always tell people is stop worrying. It's not as bad as we think it is sometimes, but it's still bad. But there are some ways. Let's say you have a great stock and it's done really well, and so you have a big gain. So you're going to have capital gains tax on that when you take it out. Long term, which is good. You want long-term capital gains tax, not short-term. Short-term's a lot more.
Yes.
It's whatever income tax rate you're at. Long-term is 15 or 20%, a lot better deal.
Okay.
So you say, well, Coach, this is going to put me into a higher tax bracket. I do not want to be in that higher tax bracket. I heard you, Coach. I heard you say I'm only going to have to pay the taxes on the excess, but I don't even want to do that. Now, so let's look through your stock portfolio. I'm pretty sure you've had a loss or two, like a bad stock. Maybe you're down some. Why, yes, there's this penny stock that my broker told me about, and I've lost $10,000 in there.
Oh.
So you sell that, you take a $10,000 loss and go against the $10,000 gain you just made, you equaled that out. Now you're still in the low tax bracket.
I like that.
So there's a lot of creative ways. And so don't despair, but get a planner who's been there before and understands the tools and techniques to help you look ahead in the tax code to protect your behind from the tax man.
Very important
So
to
we
do.
do that. It's fun, folks. It's fun. When we turn the tables on the tax man, it gets really fun, Thomas, because it's a lot of fun to tell the tax man, well, I know you're not getting more tax this year from me. Matter of fact, you're going to give me money back or something like that.
I love it.
So it's about using what's available to you to put you in control. It's called tax arbitrage, and we do that every single day. 100% legal, using the rules as they exist to put you ahead of the game.
Fantastic. Folks, contact Coach Pete's team at Capital Financial today. Starts with a 22-step process. All of this is behind the scenes for you. We try to make it easy.
And there's no cost.
No, there's no, which, by the way, is such an incredible, even you offer this even as a second opinion review.
Yeah.
And the power behind
Get a second opinion first, and then we'll tell you if you really need to get a new plan. Many times we say, hey, everything you're doing is fine. That gives you that peace of mind.
Yeah.
We're not here to sell something. We're here to make sure you're in control.
That right there is the power of fiduciary, folks. Connect with his fiduciary team now. You see the information on your screen, how you can connect with us. Start it. Knowledge is power. I think that came from Schoolhouse Rock, right?
Yeah, it did.
Knowledge is power, and we will see you on the next chapter.
Welcome back to our series, Women and Money. I wish it was called Women in Money, because then we'd all be in the money. I'm just saying. We've got Coach Pete here to kind of guide us along. Jackie, I've got Amanda, and Jana, Miss Jana. Now, what about the divorce, Coachy? What if we get divorced with our money?
It was old Eddie Murphy comedy routine. He said half the money's going somewhere else. We see a lot of, unfortunately, they call them silver divorces. And a lot of people get it. Like
in retirement, yeah.
You go from working, so when you're working 40 hours a week, you really hardly ever see your spouse. You see him in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
And you see him at night for maybe dinner, a late dinner, a kiss, a good night, and then the same thing. Then on the weekends, you're doing yard work or you're hanging out with friends or maybe you're not spending much time together. And then you get excused from work, or you either retire or you get let go, and now you're at home 40 hours and your spouse is there too. Maybe you see too much of each other.
Oh,
you go from not seeing each other at all. Well, let's even rewind even further. You go from dating all the time and loving each other to getting married and then getting jobs and then not seeing each other hardly at all for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And now all of a sudden you're seeing each other full time again. It's a new person.
It is, because you change as you age.
We all change. I mean, look, even our world changes because we have 7 continents now, and they used to be one big piece of land.
Yeah,
they're constantly separated from each other, aren't they, Jana? And so we all are. There's gravitational pull pulling us different ways, and so compromise it gets more and more valuable and important as we get further into marriage.
And if you can't change together, if you can't, grow, then all of a sudden you are facing that separation or divorce. But even further than that, what if your spouse is hiding stuff from you, debt that you don't know about?
That happens a lot.
And it looms over you when they pass away, and you're like, how am I going to support the household? How am I going to do all this?
Well, even if they haven't passed away yet, maybe you wish they did. Sometimes you start getting these collector mail all the time, like you owe this, or calls at night.
That's a whole nother episode.
Back in the day when we had one phone at home, remember one phone at home was on the wall? And the debt collector would call. Well, if the debt collector was calling then, you could hear it because you could hear the conversation. Now we got these little cell phone things, and nobody really knows what's going on in here. We have our own private worlds. I mean, everybody has their own private world now, and so. It makes it a whole lot easier to cheat if you want to, I guess, doesn't it?
I suppose, yeah.
And so, and it makes it a whole lot easier to cheat, meaning spend a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah, and so when debt collectors are calling you on your phone, here, they're not calling it a hallway phone anymore. My dad used to, we weren't allowed to talk to girls when I was growing up because Dad was a college professor. He said girls were almost like Bobby Boucher would say, the devil.
Oh my gosh!
And so Dad would get mad at us, because he said, you should be studying. That's what he always say. So we had one phone, and so we had to make the conversations very short. And to this day, I don't like talking on the phone because I never really talked on the phone.
Yeah. Do you recommend prenup?
I recommend having a conversation about it.
Okay.
Because that's something that, financially makes a whole lot of sense. Emotionally, it's that's a minefield.
It could be. It could really separate you initially, like even before the wedding happens. If I want to get a prenup, but
what have you been thinking about this?
Well, I was married before.
Yep.
So
who hasn't been these days? Jana's only married.
Still working on my first marriage.
And he had a lot of Bitcoin that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And he was actually buying a lot of Bitcoin with our money, joint money. So I'm like, what? It was shocking to me to know about that when we got divorced. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, have the hard conversations now, because then you find out, hey, are you compatible or not? Because if you're not willing to go through the hard conversation just to sit down face to face, if you're not grown up enough for that, then red flag.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the red flag.
The Bitcoin's
for me,
interesting. I assume they found that on the forensic accounting dive into there. Yeah, saying, where did this money go? Because he thought he was being all sneaky, wasn't he?
Yeah. Well,
did you get half the Bitcoin?
I don't want to say exactly, but we had a lot of money in our real estate too. Nashville was up like a crazy amount, so that was nice. But I just didn't know the depths of all of it. And the forensic accounting is expensive.
Yeah,
if you don't
they make
know
some
how
money
much
now.
that is. So know that. Know before you get married. And I don't know if I want to get a prenup. I feel like I trust Ryan 100%. But if you get married without a prenup, is what you have before you get married yours?
Yeah, if you get married without a prenup, usually, if you're bringing it into the wedding, marriage, it should be yours. But again, I would outline it. It doesn't have to be a prenup, and I'm not an attorney, by the way.
Yeah.
But I would write down type something out saying, we're entering this marriage at this date, and before I met you, I accumulated this.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this in, and you had this, and you're bringing this into the marriage. If we leave each other in the future, divorce, then we should both leave with this without these being disturbed by each other. In other words, whatever I bring, I should leave with. But if you put it in writing and you both sign it and get it, I'm a notary, I can notarize for you, get it notarized, it would be better than not having anything, right, Jackie? I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Again, I'm not an attorney, but
Absolutely.
money causes more arguments than anything by about 10 to 1.
So iron it out now.
Iron it out now, because it's not going to get any better. And if people are fighting and say, well, once we're married, everything will be fine. No, it's going to get worse. So you got to start with a queen sea that has no waves in it, because it's going to get rocky. There's going to be 10-foot waves, swells. They're going to have 30, 40, 50, 70-foot swells in your relationship. We have a storm coming in right now offshore. They said about 70 to 90-foot waves on the offshore, but they call them swells, because they're not really here. But if they hit the coast, that's bad. So you don't need that kind of wave hitting your relationship in the future either. So you can quell the waters by getting everything done ahead of time on a piece of paper, get it signed.
Sure. For as far as retirement accounts are concerned, because let's jump to that, because you're in the marriage stage. But what about the Social Security claiming and the retirement accounts? What would you suggest women do?
Yeah, well, a lot of times your husband has made more money than you have over the years. It's not your fault. It's just what the world has done. So
a lot of women take time off to have kids, and they have many years of not earning.
There's two parts. Remind me the second part.
Okay.
It's about divorce. Remind me that in a minute.
Okay.
But this is like, if you're married to your husband and you're still, and you're retiring, or you want to start taking Social Security, you may be able to take your husband's portion. It may be more than yours before you activate yours. And so you can take, that's a special claiming